for tonight's football game between the Western Reserve Raiders and our own Fitch Falcons. Tonight is homecoming, 1987 at Fitch High School, and I welcome all the alumni back home this evening. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you the announcers for this evening's festivities. Miss Nancy DeVecchio, the spirit officer of the Falcons speech team, and Mr. Greg Farrell, the president of the senior class.
On behalf of the faculty and staff and the student body, I welcome you to the 1987 Austintown Fitch High School ceremony. Now entering the track are the cars carrying the reigning queen and the 5 young ladies who are the candidates for the 1987 homecoming queen. Leading off tonight is a white 1953 Corvette being driven by Bob Blazer. It carries the 1986 homecoming queen of Austintown Fitch High School, Miss Jennifer Johnson, and her escort, Mr. Tony Campana.
Jennifer is the daughter of?
Jennifer is the daughter of Marion Max Johnson, and she is presently working for Dr. C. Connor White full-time.
A winter white skirt with a matching sweater accented with a scarf. A pair of low riding boots completes her outfit.
Also in the first car are tonight's flower girl and crown bearer. The flower girl is Miss Nicole Ford, the daughter of Wally and Joan Ford of Austintown.
The crown bearer of tonight's ceremony is Master Michael Molnar, the son of Linda and Richard Molnar of Austintown. Riding in the black 1974 Corvette, driven by Ray Jersa, is our first candidate for the homecoming queen of 1987, Miss Angela DeCapua, who resides on Tall Oaks Lane with her parents, Angelo and Teresa DeCapua. Angie is 5 feet and 3 inches tall, and she has brown eyes and brown hair. She is being escorted tonight by Mr. Michael Karinsky, a senior at Fitch.
Our next candidate, Miss Catherine Poshner, is riding in the gray 1985 Corvette, which is being driven by Sally Becker. The daughter of George and Donna Poshner, Kathy also has brown eyes and brown hair. She lives on Old Town Road and is being escorted tonight by Mr. Adrian Aracey, a Fitch senior.
Miss Cassandra Saltis, the daughter of Barbara Saltis, is our third candidate. Cassie lives on South Raccoon Road, and tonight she and her escort, Mr. Bert Stellers, a senior at Fitch, are riding in a gray 1984 Corvette, driven by Tony Capizio. Cassie, too, plans to attend Ohio State University in the fall of 1988, where she wishes to study medicine.
Miss Amy Tofill resides on West Viola Drive with her parents, Ronald and Joyce Tofill. She and her escort, Mr. Thomas Warmus, a Fitch senior, ride in a yellow 1971 Corvette, which is being driven by Don DiTullio.
Fitch's final candidate for homecoming queen is Miss Christine Yee, who is being escorted tonight by Fitch Senior Mr. Joe Remedio. Chris is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bo Yee of Fitzgerald Avenue, and she plans to attend college to major in physical therapy. She is riding in a black 1972 Corvette, which is being driven by Jim Quinn. The name of the 1987 homecoming queen is the best kept secret at the high school. At this moment, only 4 individuals know the results. This ceremony is the culmination of a week's worth of voting. Nominating petitions were passed out on Monday. 56 senior ladies were nominated by their friends. All members of the junior and senior class voted to determine the 5 finalists. Yesterday, the senior class voted to determine the final places in tonight's court, which will be announced shortly.
That's good, then.
Coming up.
Here they are. Here they are.
Start it.
No. Okay.
Now entering the field is our 1986 queen, Miss Jennifer Johnson. Jennifer's reign comes to an end tonight when she crowns the new 1987 homecoming queen. Right here. Where? Start right here? Right there? Where? Right here? Jennifer is a 5 foot 4 inches tall. Her eyes are blue and her hair is blonde. Jennifer is wearing a winter white skirt with a matching sweater accented with a scarf. A pair of low riding boots completes her outfit.
And now where's that thing? Now the 1987. And now here is the 1987 homecoming queen and her court. Say that.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce the 1987 homecoming queen and her court. The 4th runner-up is Miss Amy Toffel. Amy is being escorted tonight by Mr. Thomas Warmeth, a Fitch Senior. Amy is a member of the National Honor Society, and she plans to attend Ohio State University to study law.
The 3rd runner-up is Miss Angela DeCapua of Austintown. Angie is 5 feet 3 inches tall, and she has brown eyes and brown hair. She is currently co-captain of the Falcon Cadets, corresponding secretary of the National Honor Society, historian of the Key Club, and a senior class representative. She is also a member of the speech team, the Italian Club, the Powder Puff team, and her youth group at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church.
The 2nd runner-up is Miss Christine Yee. Chris has been the secretary of her class since her sophomore year and is a member of the National Honor Society. She has been a member of the award-winning varsity cheerleading squad for 3 years. Chris is also a member of the Student Board of Elections, the Powder Puff football team, the varsity softball team, and also serves as secretary of the Key Club.
The 1st runner-up is Miss Cassandra Soltis. Cassie has been the vice president of her class for 4 consecutive years. She was a member of the track team for 2 years, and she is currently a member of the Powder Puff football team. She has been a member of the French Club for 4 years. She is a valued member of the gymnastics team and is also recording secretary of Fitch's National Honor Society. And thus far at Fitch, she has maintained a 4.0 grade point average.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the 1987 homecoming queen of Austintown Fitch High School, Miss Catherine Poshner. 8.5 inches tall, and she has brown eyes and brown hair. Kathy is a German club member, a drama club member, a ski club member, and a player on the Powder Puff football team. Kathy is the secretary of the art club, and she has received much community-wide recognition for her talents. Kathy is also a member of the National Honor Society. She wishes to study at Ohio State University in physical therapy.
And now, Miss Jennifer Johnson will crown the 1987 Homecoming Queen of Fitch High School, Miss Catherine Poshner.
Mr. Ron Wetton, the president of the Austintown Touchdown Club, will present the Queen, Catherine Poshner, with the traditional trophy. Would you now stand and sing the Fitch High School alma mater, which will be followed by the national anthem.
No. The national anthem is when they leave the field. That's all right.
I'm doing all the thank yous. You want to do all the thank yous? Whatever. Up to you. On behalf of the senior class, I would like to thank the following individuals and clubs, because without their help, these festivities would never have been possible. Mr. Jack Betts, who organized and conducted the voting process. Mr. Gomer Lewis, the junior class principal, for tabulating the results. Mr. Ray Jersa in the Youngstown Corvette Club for the cars used this evening. Mrs. Donna Biltz for typing and duplicating the ballots. Mr. Kenneth Carano, the voice of the Falcons, for directing tonight's ceremony. And last but not least, Mr. David Sheeler, the senior class advisor, who is the field director tonight and the coordinator of all homecoming activities and senior projects. Thank you all.
Very good job, both of you. Now, where's my stuff? Where's my shit? Well done. Yeah, that's it. God bless. On behalf of the entire Austintown community, I'd like to congratulate Queen Catherine and her court and wish you an enjoyable and successful reign. Pull the plug out of our microphone, the first one. Pull it out. Played by the Austintown Fitch marching band, and the rest is the line now.
Hello and welcome, Austintown, to this edition of Austintown Community Television Sports. Tonight we feature the rebroadcast of the Austintown Fitch Falcons versus the Raiders of Warren Western Reserve in a clash of former SBC rivals, but Warren Western Reserve has left the Steel Valley. The Falcons have not. With me tonight, as always, is John Rourke next to me here in the booth. We've moved from upstairs to downstairs with the voice of the Falcons, Ken Carano, in the press box, so any background noise you hear tonight will be the result of Mr. Carano's loud voice and the rest of his associates here in the press box. The Falcons enter tonight's game after losing last week at YSU Stanbon Stadium to the Ursuline Irish in a tough, hard-fought battle there down at YSU. A final score of 21-16 in favor of the Irish. But one thing that we did see last week, John, was the Falcons were both productive on offense and were good on defense, letting Clinton Lynch run up many yards on the ground. They still showed good strong defense and offense. The first time they've really combined both in a ball game this year.
Hi, Kevin, and you know, a guy like Clinton Lynch, you know, is that right now probably as good a back as there is in the state. He's going to make your defense look a little bit bad at times. But I tell you, I think we did a decent job, you know, of containing him. You know, we didn't let him break the long one, and our defense kept us in the football game. And it was just one of those nights that whoever had the ball last, we thought anyway, you know, might win the football game. And really, when it came right down to it, we had a good shot of winning it. You know, it was a matter of inches there. You know, we catch that one pass, and of course we have a chance of tying or maybe winning the football game. But again, you know, another good performance by the Falcons again last week.
Well, right now, number 8, Larry Bucciarelli, is set to kick off for the Falcons to begin this football game. It's a high kick. It's going to go all the way back to the 5-yard line. It's where the Raiders receiver will field it. And he's going to be corralled in by a bunch of Falcons. Number 42, John Kowalczyk, making a nice play on the kickoff there. It's going to give the Raiders very poor field position at their 8-yard line.
And that probably has been the most consistent part of our football team, Kevin, the special teams. Again, you know, they've did an excellent job of keeping the opponent deep in their own territory. And again, here we're going to start inside the 10, and it's a nice way to start the football game.
The weather here tonight at Falcon Stadium is unseasonably warm. A nice time for the football game, and also for our pregame activities this evening. We had the 1987 homecoming queen in our court. Miss Kathy Poshner, a senior here at Austintown Fitch, was crowned the queen. Back to the action on the field. Number 11 for the Raiders is the quarterback. He's going to hand off to number 44, Destry Combs, the wingback for the Raiders.
Well, you know why it's warm out, Kevin. We moved inside. Now, we were up on the roof again. It was probably about 12 below.
Devin Fitzpatrick was on the stop for the Falcons, the senior inside linebacker. There was only a pickup of 5 on that play. It's going to bring up second down and 5. Different perspective here in the press box than up above. It's going to be a quick pass in the flats, number 30 for the Raiders. Alfie Birch, a junior receiver. It's going to be good enough for the first down of the evening for the Raiders.
And just something I had noticed when they were warming up, Kevin, we were commenting about earlier here, the fact that, the quarterback, Richardson, does have a nice arm, throws the ball quite well, and they always had some quick receivers outside, and this could create a big problem for us this evening.
If that name for a quarterback sounds familiar, that's Roselle Richardson's younger brother. He was a quarterback at Western Reserve for a long time, but number 11, Jermaine Richardson, is going to be brought down quickly by number 1, Rich Turner, on a stunt there for the Falcons, coming from the strong safety position. Good defensive play. It was a good use of stunts there by defensive coordinator Jack Kenny. Called that exactly the way it happened, and Rich Turner made the big play.
Yeah, it's something we haven't done a whole lot of, Kevin, was a lot of stunning. We've played a lot of basic defense all year, and I think probably maybe tonight we're going to try and do something different, maybe contain the offense a little bit better than we have.
There's a loss of 2 on that play. It'll bring up second down and 12 for the Raiders. A fumble in the backfield, and it's recovered by the Falcons. One of the Falcons there, Devin Fitzpatrick, in on that pile, and the referee signal it that way. Number 50, Devin Fitzpatrick, comes up with the ball for the Falcons. A big play for the Falcons. A turnover, something that cost the Falcons basically the game last week. Now may give them a good opportunity to score here quick in the first quarter.
That's something, talking with Dave Hartman during the week, Kevin, he mentioned to me, and I think everybody has noticed that the opponents have made very few mistakes or turnovers against us and really haven't given us an opportunity like we've got here tonight. This is the first time this has happened all season, I believe.
Number 9, Derek Fletcher, the Falcon quarterback, is going to start his own 20-yard line. He's going to hand off to Keith Motter. Refer back to mistake-free football. Despite the fumble last week that pretty well set up the final Ursuline score there to go ahead in the ball game, I'd say the Falcons played a heck of a mistake-free ball game last week.
Yeah, we haven't really, played that poorly all year, Kevin. It's just the fact that everybody else has played just a little bit better than us, and we've managed to come out on the short end of about 4 ball games, and believe me, we're not a 2-4 football team.
It's going to bring up a second down and 9 situation for the Falcons. Motter and Starry behind Fletcher. Stroll is going to switch sides at tight end. Handoffs on the counter to Starry. He's going to burst forward for about 6 yards.
And already this looks like this one could get quite physical, Kevin. We got guys that thought somebody was dancing on Ronnie Strollo's back there a minute ago. I think Ron was just carrying out a block, and we've always had a pretty good rivalry with these people. And it's one good thing about it. It's been a friendly rivalry. We go out and play good hard football. When the football game's over, we very seldom ever had any real serious problems with them. So I expect to see a hard-hitting football game here tonight.
Third down and 4 for the Falcons. Stroll is going to switch sides again. That's going to give all the Falcons their offensive power on the wide side of the field. Handoff to Starry behind it. He's going to fight forward close to first down yardage. He needs to get to the 9-yard line. We'll see where the referees place the ball.
And of course we're in 4-down territory again, Kev, so we got another shot at it. And I think we come up, about a yard short? I think you can see a little better than I can.
About a half yard. I know, unfortunately, John, you got that wall blocking your vision here in our new press box setting. It's also hard for me to tell the yard markings and such. It's just a different angle for us.
Yeah, we did have one thing about being up there, probably had the best seat in the house, because you're almost, it feels like you're on top of the football field looking down, and you can see everything open up and develop, and now we're down almost at field level, it seems like, and you can't quite see things as well.
Big play for the Falcons. Ball resting on the 10-yard line. 4th down and 1. Starry has the opening into the end zone. He gets the 1 yard, but he gets a lot more. 6 points for the Falcons on their first score of the evening with 7:28 remaining in the first quarter.
Well, I tell you, when you see a running back, when you start at the 10-yard line and go in standing up like that untouched, the only thing I could say is, boy, some people up front must have really executed well, Kevin. That he could have, I think, went in backwards there. That's a great job by the people up front, the down linemen.
That's Mike Starry's 6th TD of the year. Before this game, coming into this game, he had 5 TDs, which placed him 4th on the Steel Valley list of scoring. Tonight is Fortunately that we have Steel Valley stats. They've been missing for a while, but Mr. Crano got on top of it this week and he presented some stats to us. Number 14, Jeff Wilkins, the sophomore, will kick for the Falcons out of the hold of number 10, Jeff Scott.
I think it looked like our left guard was moving there, Kevin. We'll see what happens.
It appeared, well, it's hard to tell now. It's going to be illegal motion again. Illegal motion against the defense.
And there we go with that, like we said, the old hot tub 2 that we've managed to draw just about everybody off on. Now, of course, I thought we'd probably go for 2, Kev, but
it looked like
I'm going to be wrong again.
Looked like the PAT team was ready to come off the field.
Well, I might still be right.
Maybe we'll see Coach Hartman bring them in again for the 2-point conversion. It looks like they're gearing up for that. And in they come, the offense. We're going to go for 2 here after drawing the Raiders offside twice on the PAT.
And now I think we're down to maybe, what, about a yard, maybe a half a yard. So I think Dave's going to give her a shot here and go for 2. That's almost, even a quarterback sneak, you could fall in the end zone from there.
It may be a good possibility for a quarterback sneak, or I would assume we go to Mike Starry, our most productive offensive player here. We'll find out shortly. We have a extra point attempt, a 2-point conversion.
I think you're right, Kevin. We're probably going to go off tackle to the left side here.
Stroll is going to switch sides to tight end, and they're going to put everyone on the wide side of the field, and Starry's going to go right behind that, and he's in. No problem for Mike Starry. He put in the first 6 on a 9-yard touchdown run, and he puts in the next 2 points to give the Falcons a 8-0 advantage over the Raiders with 7:28 remaining in the first quarter.
And I think the Raiders had the right idea there. They shut off the off-tackle hold, but of course I think we just caved everything in there. Mike just made a little move inside and bounced outside and just, again, walked in like as he did on the touchdown. So that's a big advantage right now to get on the board 8-0.
Well, like last week when the turnover by the Falcons resulted in points, this week the Falcons returned the favor, but unfortunately Ursulin's not on the field. They're taking that ball 20 yards on that drive after the Raiders fumble on their first possession.
That's a good sign, again, of a good football team, Kevin. You get a break like that, and you're able to capitalize on it, and this is what we've been saying right along. We are a football team. Our 2-4 record is very deceiving. We've been in every football game right down to the end, and we could easily be 6-0, to be honest with you, at this point, with a few breaks like we had there.
Speaking of records, the Raiders come into this game 4-2 after a big upset win last week against the Howland Tigers in Mollenkoff Stadium in Warren. Bucciarelli to kick off for the second time in this first quarter. Another high kick. Number 22 is going to not get it on the bounce. He's going to pick it up. He's going to fall down on the 1-yard line. Close to being a safety there. A big mistake by the Raiders. It's going to give them 1st down and 10 on their own 1-yard line.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to, or where you want to start your offense from. Again, Kevin, the ball should have been caught. All you had to do is run up, and it wasn't that difficult of a kick to handle. And of course, the Raiders now really have their backs up against the wall again, and hopefully, we can play 3 good defensive plays here and force them to punt and get good field position.
Raiders, this will be their second offensive series of the evening. Richardson will be the quarterback, a sophomore, Jermaine Richardson. Behind him is a freshman at fullback, number 42, carried the ball tonight. Number 34 is going to get that carry for the Raiders. That'd be Carmen Caffey.
He got a little scary there for a second, Kevin, because we only had like 2 people left there in the secondary, and if he'd have kept his feet, could have been interesting.
Defensive halfback Derek Fletcher was in on that stop. He was off balance there, and luckily so for the Falcons. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 5 situation. Ball now out on the 6-yard line. Raiders still having their back close to the end zone. Caffey again on the carry, but he's not going to get as much this time, only 1 yard.
And what they're doing now, they're just getting into a power ice set, and they're just going to try and wedge it out, trying to get a 1st down if they can. If they can, just get enough yardage again where they don't have to punt from deep in their end zone.
3rd down and 4. The Falcons are going to probably get a good advantageous field position out of this if they're not able to force a mistake. If they're able to force another mistake, could be deadly for the Raiders.
Yeah, even though it's early in the game, Kevin, if we stop him here and get the football again and able to score and go up that by 2 scores.
Well, Jermaine Richardson is going to go for the first down yardage and more. And we're going to have a penalty against the Falcons. They hit a spear or something like that. And he's be able to get out to the 20-yard line. 15-yard pickup for Jermaine Richardson. That was a nice executed quarterback sneak.
Yeah, just again, the old play that I always say old because you don't see it too often, but the naked bootleg. The quarterback fakes to one of the running backs and they don't pull anybody. And he just comes out here all alone and, of course, very successful with that particular play anyways.
The flag by the tackle threw me there, but the penalty was not against the Falcons. It's going to move the Raiders back. It's going to take away all that yardage on that play. It was clipping against the Raiders is the call. It's going to bring the ball back to the original line of scrimmage at the 7-yard line.
Well, I tell you, that hurts, Kevin, even though, we're talking about the Raiders. They've got an easy first down picked up, and all of a sudden somebody throws a late block there and costs them, the first down, a big gain.
Power eye behind Richardson. He's going to pass. He's going to be from his own end zone. And a good defensive play there by number 9, Derek Fletcher. The Raiders fans don't like it, but it was a good defensive play.
And good call by the official. Both defender and pass receiver went for the ball, simultaneously. And, that's, I think, how the official has to look at it. If both people are going for the football and there's a little bit of incidental contact, you've got nothing.
Quarterback for the Raiders, Jermaine Richardson, showed a lot of poise there, throwing from his own end zone under heavy pressure from the defense of the Falcons.
Throws a little bit like it. Yeah.
Number 79, Kurt Foster, is going to punt for the Falcons, very large punter. He puts all his weight into this ball. A nice high spiraling kick. It's going to take Chuck Weston, number 32, back inside his Falcon territory. Good return by Chuck Weston. He's going to bring it out to the 40-yard line, into the 40-yard line, Raiders territory. It's a good 12-yard return by Chuck Weston. In SVC stats, he's number 1 in his average return yards for punts. He's leading the Steel Valley with a 29.8-yard average for 4 returns for 119 total yards. So Chuck Weston, a sophomore, being very impressive in the punt returning department.
I thought there we were going to have a good chance of running that one back or getting something set up, Kevin, because he really outkicked his coverage. And normally when you do that, sometimes you'll see that this gives the punt return team an opportunity to set that old wall up and give him the return man a little bit more room to operate.
There's a conference between the officials and the teams on the field, probably about the after-the-play incidents or such. They're always surrounding any football game, and even more so when the Raiders come in. Not because of the Raiders, because
there's a little bit of activity taking place after the whistle's blown, Kevin. There's a lot of people, as I said, are continuing their blocks, or some other people are trying to get in on tackles that maybe shouldn't be, and hopefully this doesn't get out of hand here, but sometimes when things like that start this early, it's a possibility, so the officials are trying to prevent that.
Raiders left the Steel Valley 2 years ago, but I don't think the rivalry has died down in those 2 years. We've played the Raiders both of these years, this being the second year. Fletcher's going to take second offensive possession for the Falcons, first down and 10 from his own 40-yard line. It's going to be Turner on the handoff, and he's going to get a good 9 yards. That's something we haven't seen the Falcons run yet here, is the handoff to the wingback. We've seen the counter trap with the tailback handing off, but never the quarterback handing off to the wingback, excuse me.
Oh, you can go back some years, Kevin, and we've cost them some big seasons. They went 9-1 there back in the early 70s, about 3 or 4 years in a row, and I think 2 or 3 of those years we cost them undefeated seasons and I shot at maybe some state championships.
Number 84, Eric McMahon, the tight end, and he's going to switch sides. Fletcher's going to roll out, and he's going to keep the ball. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard more. It's hard to tell whether that was a pass or an intended keep.
Yeah, because sometimes what happens, Kevin, that, a lot of teams have done this to us, especially the last couple of years, where they bring those outside people hard, and they make us pull up, so sometimes, it may be intended to be a pass, but because of what develops defensively, he has to, tuck the ball away and try and find some running room.
Third down and a short one for the Falcons. Rob Tofill wide at the split end. Rich Turner at the wing. He's going to be in motion. It's going to be handoff to Keith Motter, but he had stopped quickly by defensive tackle for the Raiders, number 78. That play was nowhere from the beginning.
And I think, to me, it seems like we're trying to audible at the line of scrimmage, Kevin. I think you probably know more about that than I do as far as, do we like to do that or not? Because we took an awful lot of time, and sometimes, you change plays like that, there might be still a little bit of confusion up front as to maybe a blocking assignment, and that's what it appeared to be to me that time.
We do every year put in plays, or every week actually, that's going to react to certain defensive setups, and the audible is used. We have all our power to the wide side of the field. We've been using that a lot tonight, and it's been effective, and it's going to be effective here as Mike Starry gets the first down.
Mike Starry getting down 4 yards and a first down. Man, that's nice to see because, we, again, needed a yard or two there, and, boy, if you can go to the off-tackle hole and pick up 4 or 5 in a crucial situation like that, it's good evening for the offense.
Ball now resting on the Raiders' 27-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. The offense really hasn't had it go that far this evening. They went 20 yards in the first drive, and they started from their own 40 there in the second drive of the evening. Starry and Motter behind Fletcher. It's going to be the counter to Starry, but the Raiders read it well. Whether they read it, I don't know, but it was, well, it's going to be a personal foul late hit against the Raiders, as I was saying. The Raiders do use a lot of stunning. We mentioned the garbage defenses early in the season against Cheney, and the Raiders, I think, showed some of that there, but to no avail.
They had one of their down linemen just made a little adjustment or move there at the last second, and again, like I said, we could have some, or be having some problems up front there with blocking assignments because that same down lineman ended up coming home almost free and making the tackle. But again, a little bit of action after the whistle blew there, and this is what the officials, this is what they have to do is, throw some flags and cost some people some yardage in order to discourage some people from doing this.
Ball now resting on the 14-yard line. Falcons 1st and 10 after that personal foul against the Raiders. It's going to be the counter trap to Turner, but the Raiders read it well, and it's only going to produce about 4 yards. Raiders doing a pretty good job of handling any tricks that the Falcons are throwing out tonight, or any different movement like the counters or that counter trap right there at the wingback.
Yeah, that's one thing they are doing. They're bringing a lot of people, but and again, that's probably why the counter is working. They're just coming at us with the 4 or 5 down linemen there. They're not doing anything real fancy, but then again, that's why we've probably been able to get the off-tackle hole.
2nd down about 7, only 3 on that pickup. Ball resting on the 11-yard line. Motter's going to get the handoff. He's going to struggle forward, but there's going to be a foul against one of the Falcons.
And that's going to be a holding call.
The flag landed on the Falcon, and there was no doubt in my mind that the referee was directing it towards that Falcon player. It's going to be holding, like you called.
I'm looking up at the clock, Kevin. I know there's only 1:35 left to go in the first quarter, and it's, we've talked, especially the last 2 or 3 games, about how fast the games are going. But I guarantee you tonight it's not going to go that fast. Because the field, I think, is going to end up being yellow before the night's over, because we've seen more flags tonight in 1 quarter of football than we've seen all season, which is kind of unusual.
Reminiscent of that last quarter against Glenville when our substitute people and the Tarbletters from Cleveland, Glenville, had a little interaction between themselves. But this is the varsity out here now. And
yeah, we had a few 3-rounders that night, Kevin. Took us a while to finish that one.
Well, that penalty is going to move the Falcons back 10 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 17. Ball's now on the 21-yard line.
And of course, 2nd down and long, we've got to pick up a big chunk of yardage here. And of course, we're down in 4-down territory.
Formation, so Tom Vaucier is going to switch sides. Fletcher's going to throw the ball, and he decides not to, and he's finally down by one of the Raiders linemen. Only pick up about 2 on the play.
And the Raiders are doing a nice job of, stopping that particular play anyways. That's been one of our big gainers the last few weeks, where Derek's been able to go out there and either pass or run, and he's picked up some key first downs. But already tonight we see that, of course, they're ready for it, and they've scouted us, and Derek hasn't been too effective so far with that play.
that holding penalty may have more implications than just the yardage that it cost us, because we may be a little far out of field goal range for Jeff Wilkins. And seeing that it's third down and long, chances of first down are not as great as they were if it would have been without the holding penalty. Fletcher's going to roll out. He's going to want to throw the ball. He has yet to get a pass off tonight, and the Raiders put more pressure on him. He gets a pass off, and Rich Turner is open. Short of the first down. Ball now resting on the 8-yard line. Good enough for a 9-10-yard gain. It's going to be fourth down and 5. A good completion. Derek Fletcher showed a lot of movement in the backfield. He evaded many of the Raiders' oncoming rushers. That's going to end the first quarter already. Score Fitch Falcons 8, Warren Western Reserve nothing. But the Falcons, after that completion from Fletcher to Turner, are going to be deep into Raider territory with the fourth down and 5.
Yeah, that good point you made there, Kevin. You know, that holding penalty really cost us because, you know, we had another good drive going, and when we get in those second and third and long situations, you know, we've had a difficult time, you know, again, because of the type of offense we run. You know, it's not a big play offense, and that always presents a problem for us.
Rich Turner did good receiving in that play, if you want to call it receiving, whatever. But he did a good job because he was able to stay back and find the open position as the Raiders' defensive secondary thought Fletcher was going to run and came up.
And again, a big completion, Kev, because it probably gives us now an opportunity, you know, to attempt a field goal, puts us within range, whereas, you know, if we don't complete that pass, obviously there we're back somewhere around our 30, 35-yard line, and we either have to go for it or maybe even punt. So now at least we're within field goal range and gives us an opportunity to at least put 3 points on the board.
And that's what we're going to try to do right now. Number 14 sophomore Jeff Wilkins will be attempting the field goal this evening.
And probably, again, a difficult angle for him. I would much rather see it on the other hash. You know, the sidewinders seem to kick more effectively from the left hash than they do the right hash, but I think Jeff's going to bang this one through this time.
Number 10, Jeff Scott, will be holding. It's going to be a 31-yard attempt for Wilkins. Now check that, make that a 26-yard attempt. And it's up, and it's good. Nice kick by Jeff Wilkins. Going to give 3 more points for the Falcons this evening. Going to bring the score to a...
Made an accurate prediction for a chance.
It was good for 3. It's going to tack on that 3 to the previous 8, and it's going to bring the score to Falcons 11, Raiders nothing, with 11:56 remaining in the half.
Again, as we pointed out, you know, that was the key completion because, again, I don't think we would have been within field goal range, and obviously, you know, being back on our 30 or 35, we'd have had fourth and probably about 20 or 25, which is a pretty good, difficult situation to overcome down there. So I'm sure Dave's probably pretty happy with the outcome there, coming out of that with at least 3 points.
So far, the Falcons have been able to produce on both of their offensive drives, something they did consistently in the first half last week. I think they scored on each time they possessed the ball, except the last time going into the first half against the Irish when the time was running out.
Well, let's hope that you know, our specialty teams again can afford us the opportunity to have the opposition started within the 20-yard line, Kevin, because it's putting a lot of pressure on that Raider offense.
Bucciarelli's worst kick of the evening. It's a low, and it's going to bounce on the 20-yard line. He's been putting them deep into the Raider territory. And number 44 is going to make a good return there for the Raiders. Destry Combs, the wingback on the offense, he's going to make a good return. And the Raiders are going to start with their best field position of the evening, ball on their own 41-yard line.
I don't care how good your specialty team is, Kevin. You got to still, you know, get some foot or leg into the football, and that's probably the poorest kick Chris has had in a while. This is what was happening to us earlier, though. We were trying to scrib them, and the up people were coming up with them and really only having to run 5 or 10 yards, and they were at the 40-yard line, and, of course, giving the offense good field position, which they have right now in this situation.
Richardson under center. Destry Combs is going to be in motion for the Raiders. He's going to pass the ball. and he's going to go over the middle to number 44, Combs, and he fumbles the ball. And Rob Tofield, number 22, recovers the the fumble for the Falcons. That's Combs' second fumble of the evening.
And thank you, Raiders.
Nothing seems to be going right for the Raiders, and everything seems to be going all right for the Falcons tonight, the way we like to see it.
I tell you what, Kevin, they do have, as we talked about earlier also, there's some potential there offensively, and you know they've helped us out here a little bit already. They've caught the ball up a couple times, and that's keeping our defense, for one thing, off the field tonight. And we probably hope we don't have to play as much defense as we've had to play the last few ball games.
Fletcher going to drop back. He's going to go deep to number 1, Rich Turner, but and it's intercepted. And the Raiders get the ball right back. This time it's going to be on their own 20-yard line, but that nullifies the Raiders' fumble. Unfortunately, despite Derek Fletcher's command of the offense so far this season, after coming in on the 3rd game, and he's been good with his quickness and his running ability, he's had a problem with interceptions. That's his 5th interception of the year as Falcon quarterback.
And, you know, you can see the thinking there. We come out, you know, after a big turnover and first down, you know, a little play action, try and put the ball up. But the only bad thing was that we had the same result as we had in the Massillon game, Kevin. The same thing happened. They had 3 people back there with the receiver.
Richardson's going to return the favor and throw to number 34, and that's complete. The ball all the way into Falcon territory at the 45-yard line of the Falcons. The receiver there was Carmen Caffey, number 34.
That is the thinking of a lot of football coaches, you know, especially after a big turnover like that. You may get the defense a little bit flat, you know, and still maybe a little bit down because of what happened, and you try and go up top. I tell you what, I think we're going to see him put the ball up a lot more than he has so far, and he's going to be in for a rough evening here, I think, our secondary.
Richardson's going to throw again. He pump fakes, and he's going to go for number 35, and interception is complete. And he's already down to the 18-yard line before he's stopped by Fletcher and number 36, Joe Dolak for the Falcons.
So again, we're going to have to make that decision again. Are we going to rush a lot of people, or are we going to, you know, keep a whole bunch back? And we again, we're impressed with Richardson. We watched him warm up, and he hasn't let us down so far. You know, up to this point in the football game, Kevin, he throws the ball quite well.
The Raiders really back into the flow of this game. 44 in motion for the Raiders. Number 43 gets the call, Myron Elsie, and he gets down to the 10-yard line. Just outside the 10, make it the 9-yard line. Good enough for 7 yards.
So they've loosened this up with the pass. Now they're going to come back and, you know, maybe probably pick up some big yardage on the ground. But anyway, they got us thinking both ways now. You know, they've loosened that defense up, so now they'll probably try and pick up some yardage on the ground.
Tide quickly turned here in the ball game. Richardson going to throw again, and number 80, Don Hauser, on a nice stunt for the Falcons, the inside linebacker. We thought Richardson was going to unleash the ball and let it go, but Hauser's able to pull him down by that leg he held on to. Going to lose on that play about 5 yards. Big play for Don Hauser.
And what we did, what I like to see too, Kevin, is we mixed it up a little bit on defense. You know, we have had a tendency lately of maybe just playing with a basic defense and sitting back there with a bunch of people only rushing 4 or 5. That time we decided we're going to put a little pressure on them and bring some linebackers.
It's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Raiders. Richardson's going to throw again. He's going to roll out. He's got good pressure from McMahon, and the ball is incomplete. Coverage there by Don Hauser, number 1, Rich Turner for the Falcons. Good pressure there on that play by Eric McMahon, number 84, number 73, Rich the Chalk. The key to that incompletion.
Yeah, as the old saying goes, still the best pass defense is a rush. You know, if you can get those people up front to do the job and put pressure on the quarterback, you know, it really makes it a lot easier on those people. And you get a guy that can throw the football, and you know, I don't care how good the people are back there, he's going to complete some passes.
4 down territory for the Raiders, so they're going to go for it here on 4th down and 8. 1 back behind Richardson. 2 wide receivers to this side of the field. He's going to roll out, and he's going to run the ball. There's no doubt about that. Mike Starry's going to come up and knock him out of bounds, far short of the first down marker. So the ball's going to go over on downs to the Falcons.
I think Mr. Richardson had his mind made up right now. He just tucked the football away, and he was going to try and pick the 1st and 10 up on the ground, and of course he didn't even come close. Good job by Mike Starry there, good open field tackle.
I think what we saw there is the Raiders moved down the field, and the amount of field in front of them got smaller. The Falcons were able to give better pass coverage and gave time for the rushers to get in there and put pressure on Richardson.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kevin, because when you shorten the field up like that, there's less room to work down there, and again, it makes it a little bit easier, to play pass defense. This could be a very demoralizing, occurrence here, and hopefully it is, for the Falcons, because the Raiders, had a good drive going.
Fletcher's going to hand off to Starry in the counter, and he's going to break a tackle. Good move by Mike Starry. And he finally tripped up after picking up 11 yards and the first down.
I think I'm going to give Mike a lot of credit here now, because you've observed this as well as I have, Kevin. Mike has been cutting back against the grain all year. Now all of a sudden, he's making that move inside, and he's going back outside and picking up some big yardage.
Last week and this week, he's doing a lot more straight-ahead football, rushing. He's running that ball straight ahead, using his speed to accelerate, something we saw Quentin Lynch do effectively last week for the Irish. First down and 10, ball resting on the Falcons' own 26-yard line. Motter's not going to get much on that carry.
The same play I was going to call. We've been pounding away at the off-tackle hole, and we've been running outside somewhat effectively, and usually, they start setting up defenses, to stop those types of plays, and boy, before you know it, the old fullback sneaks in there for a big game, but hey, the Raiders are still doing a decent job defensively.
Motter gained 3 on the previous play. Going to bring up 2nd down and 7 for the Falcons. John Dorenzo going to center at the quarterback Derek Fletcher. Behind him, Motter and Starry. Hand off to Starry. And he's not going to go very far. Gained more than I anticipated. Going to get about 4 on the play.
And again, probably because of our vantage point here, Kevin, we've been, again, up on top there, and we're always looking down on things, and we can see things develop quite well up there, but down here again you're looking almost directly across the field, and it's amazing what you can't see down here.
That, and the fact is when you even get down on the field, it's worse. Right. I remember a guy would run 25 yards to the sideline, and you think he gained about 25, and he only gained 1. It's all in the perspective. Stroll is going to switch sides, but the play's going to go that way with Derek Fletcher running the ball. He's hit hard by the Raiders. He's not going to get enough for the first down yard. He's going to pick up about 2. It'll be the Falcons' first punting situation of the evening.
That's something the Raiders and a lot of teams like them that are real quick, Kevin, have been able to do. Again, looked like we had something going there, but because of their quickness, they're able to recover. And when it looks like, you might pick up 5 or 10 yards, all of a sudden you find yourself with 2. And again, that's why you can't beat that quickness, whether it be defensively or offensively.
Number 8, Larry Bucciarelli, is going to punt for the first time this evening. Low snap. Oh, and close to being blocked by the Raiders. Going to get a nice roll, and it's going to go right to the Raider receiver. He's going to be tackled quickly. Number 86, Ron Stroll. Number 21, Mike Starry, in on the hit.
And we have about 48 other officials here in front of us, Kevin. Everybody is wanting a few more yellow flags thrown. He got a little bit more aggressive, I guess, than maybe he should have. He had the return man by the head, and I think he tried to remove his head from his shoulders. Again, this is football, so
no flags, and that's going to stand. 1st and 10, Raiders starting on their own 35-yard line. 1 back behind Richardson. He's going to throw on 1st down, and he has number 30 in the flat, Alfie Birch.
And I'm sure you don't remember that name, Kevin, but I can remember sitting out here in 1969. He had a brother that was just one heck of an athlete, Alvin Birch. He was a great basketball player and a football player. And this is his son, right.
1st down and 10. That completion now from Birch is going to bring the ball to the Raiders' own 49-yard line. Tone of this ball game certainly has changed. There was a lot of mistakes early, a lot of exchange with the football. 3 turnovers already in the ball game, and now it's gone back to a hard-hitting football game on the ground. Richardson's going to go, drop back, and going to go like on a quarterback draw. Going to pick up 6 on the play, 7.
That's a good call, Kat. That's exactly what I think he did there. That was a designed run, and they ran the quarterback draw and picked up some big yardage.
Similar to his older brother, Roselle Richardson, who's now playing for the Gophers of Minnesota.
And
he has
doing
a lot of
fine job.
speed. Yeah, he has a lot of speed and good quickness at quarterback. In fact, those California Golden Bears played the Golden Gophers of Minnesota in the past. Golden Bears lost, of course.
I tell you what, Kev, there's some hitting going on. We've got the window open here, and some boys this week are laying the pads on some people. You know, we commented earlier in a couple ball games where we thought maybe people were just arm tackling or reaching and not really, sticking people. But I tell you what, tonight some people are putting some pads and helmets on some running backs.
John Kowalczyk, number 42, in on the stop for the Falcons on that play, the inside linebacker. One back again behind Richardson, showing pass again, and he's going to drop straight back. Oh, a nice play by number 80, Don Hauser. He read that nicely, looking right down the quarterback's eyes, saw where he's going to throw the ball, and he knocked it out before the reception could be made. Good play by inside linebacker Don Hauser. It's going to bring up 4th down and 4, but the Raiders aren't going to be satisfied with punting the ball. They're going to go for this. 4th down and 4, a little of a gamble here, with 4:29 remaining in the first half. Richardson's one back again. We can anticipate a pass. 3 receivers to the wide side of the field, but he's not going to throw the ball. Number 43 is not going to get the first down either.
And I think he's coming up short, Kev. Really, when you look at it out there, it's almost like looking in the mirror because they're running the same formations anyways. They're running an unbalanced line and end over. They're not running quite the same offense. They're doing little different things out of it than we are. But basically, you're seeing the same type of offense out there.
Well, the Falcon defense holds again, and the Raiders are unable to produce any points on that drive. Score still 11-0 in favor of the Falcons with 4:19 remaining in the first half. Fletcher's going to hand off to Starry, and then back to Turner on the counter trap. And that's going to pick up about 7. Speaking of that counter trap, I like to mention that counter trap because I remember in the past running it only once or twice a season. We run it 3 or 4 times a game at least, and that produced a lot of yardage for Rich Turner, but mostly points. He's up there on the leading point gainers in the Steel Valley, number 5 on the list.
That's
number
probably
6 on the list.
First team we've seen actually, do that good of a job stopping that particular play, Kevin. And of course, we still picked up 6 yards, but we were picking up 20 and 30 sometimes a crack.
Fletcher's going to throw the ball. Flags are everywhere. Motter is the receiver. It's going to be good for about 16 yards, but there are flags everywhere.
Yeah, and again, it's just hard to believe, Kevin. And we're not being critical of the officiating, but we go for 6 ball games, and I don't think there was more than 1 penalty called in any of those football games. Now all of a sudden, now we've had 7 or 8 of them called in not even a half of football. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact they're trying to control things because we've had, as we said, a little extracurricular activity going on.
That's the second holding penalty against the Falcons tonight. Their second penalty. It's going to bring them back 10 yards from the original line of scrimmage. Their ball is going to go back on to the Falcons' own 39-yard line. They're going to have 2nd and long now.
They're doing. That's not always true.
They must tell the officials in Massillon and evaluators there every week.
But I say that jokingly because I can see why they're doing it because things could get out of control. We've had a few guys going after each other after the whistle.
2 wideouts for the Falcons, but Fletcher's not even going to get a chance to throw the ball. Tough running by Derek Fletcher. Quarterback usually doesn't bounce off of hits like that, but Derek Fletcher did a heck of a job there.
Yeah, he's one of those short guys that's built low to the ground, Kevin. He just lowers that shoulder head and spins out of those tackles. He's just sometimes a hard guy to get a good shot at.
3rd down and 8 for the Falcons.
I'm sure now Dave's probably hoping that we have, 2:44, 3-2 left here in the first half, and we could pick up a first down or get it down here anyways, down to about a minute and even punt, and get out of this half with this nice lead, he'll be happy.
2 wideouts again. The Raiders, good pressure. They were stunning all the way. They didn't even stop at the line for reads. They were through our line and around the pulling guards and all over Fletcher. Well, our defense wasn't able to, whoever was the Raider defensive coordinator, he made a good call there for the Raiders defense. There was a definite pass rush, a blitz.
And this is what Ursuline had success last week against us with in the same situation. We got down there around the 10-yard line. They just brought a bunch of people outside, and we just couldn't handle everybody, and of course ended up with minus yardage.
Larry Butcherelli's going to punt with 2 minutes remaining in the half, and it's going to be directly caught by the Raiders. They're going to be smothered under. Strollo, Hauser in on that stop. 25, Bill Davis comes up at number 66 for the Falcons. Dan Black also in on the stop.
And now we got to make sure, and I'm sure Coach Dockery's got a secondary ready. You know, I would think, you know, that the Raiders are probably going to put the ball up 3 or 4 times here and put some pressure on their defense.
I'm looking for
the
5 defensive backs for the Falcons, but we're not going to see them yet. Still going to remain with our 50 defense, 4 defensive backs. Richardson's going to roll out. Stroll good pressure, but the receiver's wide open, and he's going to get close, and the clock stops. He gets out of bounds. I really don't think the clock should have stopped.
No,
he touched way before he went out of bounds.
He slid a good 3 yards before he ever got near the sideline. Of course, he's cheating the Raiders out of about 1.5 yards.
1:33 remaining. Raiders now in the Falcon territory. Ball resting on the 34-yard line of the Falcons after that big completion.
First down, I guess, is why he stopped the clock, hopefully.
Clock starts back up, so they did not mark him out of bounds. We were a bit eager to jump on the officials there. Richardson's going to carry the ball because he has no open receiver. He's going to pick up about 4. It's hard to tell from this vantage point. Clock's still running, 1:06 remaining. The Raiders not calling a timeout. The Raiders having all 3 of their timeouts, not using them.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual because, again, we've pointed out on many occasions on our broadcast the fact that, you know, that clock moves so rapidly in high school football. It's not like college or professional football.
Only 44 seconds remaining. Richardson's going to throw the ball up. He's in the grasp, and whoa, it was close. So Mike Starry, free safety and receiver, had eyes on that lofting ball.
Blown dead long before that, but young Mr. Richardson, he's showing me the same kind of strength his brother had. Remember how his brother used to stand back there and was like trying to, you know, drag a buffalo down. I mean, he just was so strong, and of course then had a great arm. Really a great athlete.
Anyone who's played in the last 5 years for the Falcons or even gone to at least one Western Reserve ball game cannot forget Mr. Richardson. I remember him hurdling people and several other acrobatic feats at quarterback. He's going to throw the ball, this Richardson, and he has the receiver, but the receiver drops it, and a good fortunate break for the Falcons. It was right off his fingertips. All right.
And defensively, we're trying to go bump and run with him, Kevin, and not doing too bad of a job. And, of course, we're letting him get deep on us, just a step or two. And I tell you, I'm impressed with Richardson because he put that ball on the money. That wasn't that bad a coverage in the secondary, and he laid that ball right in there.
You have to lay some praise on Richardson. Like you said, he laid that ball right. The touch was there. The mark of a good quarterback is he knows how hard to throw the ball and when, and the touch was there, but the receiver just didn't make the reception.
Yeah, he's done a good job with it, Kevin. When he's had to throw the ball, you know, on the line, he's been able to do that. When he's had to finesse the ball, he's been able to do that. And of course, those are usually good quarterbacks.
32 seconds remaining in the half. Raiders take their first timeout. They'll still have 2 remaining. It's 4th down, so if they don't score, get a first down here. Ball go back over to the Falcons, and we'll probably go into halftime with our 11-0 advantage.
Yeah, and all right, you know, another big or key play in the football game again. You know, we're down to 32 seconds here, and then, of course, you know, we probably won't be able to do too much offensively if we stop them, but again, we do have to stop them. You know, we can hold them here again. This is the 3rd or 4th time I think we've stopped a big drive, and the momentum has to be going our way coming out the second half, Kev.
4th down. Defensive coordinator Jack Kenny in there talking to the Falcon unit.
So again, he's a chance to maybe coach a little bit, huh? Are we going to come after him with a bunch of people, maybe come with some kind of a deal, Kev, or you think we'll just sit back there and try and cover him with a whole bunch of people in the secondary?
What we'll do, I think, is what we'll do is probably try to just cover him initially. If I was the coach, which I am not, we got 5 defensive backs in there, so we're going to cover him. I would go for the blitz. And Hauser's coming, and he's all over Richardson, and the ball is loose on the ground, and Raiders got it back. Just Ron Stroll is going to be upset with himself. The ball is just out of the reach of his arms, and he's got long arms.
Yeah, good job again by the defense. Again, when we originally come out there, we give them a look like we were going to do what I thought maybe we might do, just keep a whole bunch of people back, but we came with a linebacker, and that proved very effective.
That's Hauser's second sack of the evening. Both times on that blitz that the Falcons are using very frequently tonight, and it's been very effective as well. They penetrated into Falcon territory 3 times this evening, and once all the way down to inside the 20-yard line, but none of the times could they produce any points.
Yeah, it's a strange evening because our defense has been, you know, kind of our Achilles heel all season, Kevin, and then tonight, well, they really come through when we needed them. You know, the Raiders have started to put together some pretty decent drives, and well, we've managed to hang tough in there and come up with turnovers and stop them in key situations.
That'll end the first half for the ball game. It'll be Fitch going into the locker room with 11-0 advantage. We'll come back for the second half and see if the Falcons can maintain this good combination of offense and defense that they're having tonight. Right now, next you'll be hearing on Austintown Community Television is the Austintown Fitch High School Marching Band under the direction of Warren Snell and Joseph Pellegrini.
Assistant drum major Ken Benfeld, with Julie Snell as flag line instructor and Don Dowling as rifle line instructor. The downfield drills perform with the march, the Gillette Buckshot March, and the Spaniard Con. outstanding percussion section led by Todd Zetz. It showcases the gun line led by Debbie Malarsic and the flag line by Captain Jennifer Verbergen. Being performed here tonight is Corona, a contemporary number by John Boca. Traditional Austintown Fitch color presentation, led by color guard Captain Julie Kay, closes our performance tonight, featuring the official song of the United States Navy, Anchors Away.
Welcome back to tonight's rebroadcast of Austintown Community Television Sports and the clash between the Raiders of Warren Western Reserve and our very own Fitch Falcons. The second half we're going to begin shortly here in a second, and the score is still, well, it'd still be the same since the 11-0 advance. advantage in the first half in favor of the Falcons. Well, John, thank you, Mr. Carano. It's nice to have all kind of critical comments here, seeing that the big guy's right next to me now instead of being below me when we were upstairs.
Pressure's on, Kevin.
Okay, back to the action on the field. The scoring in the first half consisted of first, in the first quarter, a 10-yard run by Mike Starry for the first point, give the Falcons a 6-0 lead, and then Starry tacked on the 2-point conversion after that to give us the 8-0 advantage in the first quarter. And then early in the second quarter, with only 11:56 remaining in the second quarter, Jeff Wilkins kicked a 26-yard field goal to bring the score to where we are now, 11-0 in favor of the Falcons. John, we saw what we've been hoping to see all year from the Falcons, both good offense and good defense. The Falcons, we've mentioned before, really don't deserve their 2-4 record, and tonight they're proving it, that they are a good team.
Yeah, and the thing that's happened all season, or most of the season anyway, Kevin, where teams were able to sustain drives offensively against us, and this is probably the first time since probably clear back in the Menor ball game where we've been able to stop somebody. And we look back at the Mooney game, they took about 75-80% of the third quarter and took the football all the way down the field on us. Urson was able to do it several times against us, and like I said, this is probably the first time since the beginning of the year where we've actually been able to stop another team's drive. And of course, they helped a little bit too there with fumbles and penalties and what have you.
Falcon co-captains for the evening, number 21 Mike Starry and number 86 Ron Strollo, leave midfield after the referee signals that the Falcons will be receiving in the south end of the field to begin the second half. Raiders will be kicking off from the north end.
Key here, Kevin, is that I think you would agree that probably at the end of that first half, Reserve had to be a very frustrated and dejected football team. They did put together the beginning or start, anyways, of several good drives, but then again they turned the ball over, and of course a couple of times there we come up with some big fourth down plays there defensively, and I think right now if we can come out and get something going offensively, especially, and put some points on the board, we can pretty much take control of the football game. But if we don't do that, we give them an opportunity to get on the board here. Again, it's going to be a pretty tough second half for us.
Certainly the Falcons can't take their 11-0 advantage lying down, because the Raiders, like you said, have been showing strong offense behind the arm of Jermaine Richardson. I almost said Roselle there. Got to make sure I make that distinction. He's got a strong arm, and he's led most of the offense for the Raiders. They passed most of the first half. And above and beyond that, the tone of the game has changed so frequently. First, it was one in the first quarter marred by a lot of penalties, probably most of them being after the play type of penalties. There was a lot of confrontations going on. And then for a period there between the first and second quarters, in the middle of there was a lot of turnovers. We saw the Raiders fumble to give the Falcons their first scoring opportunity. We threw an interception, and the Raiders, after the Raiders fumbled a second time, and that was the complexion there. And finally, late in the second quarter, it turned back into a hard-hitting ball game with each team exchanging the balls. And right there, Mike Starry receives the opening half kickoff after I was rambling on, and he's going to bring the ball out to the 29-yard line of the Falcons to give them 1st and 10 to begin the second half of the ball game.
And you could kind of sense that one wasn't going anywhere, Kevin, because Mike just kind of felt his way up there. He was kind of tiptoeing, and we probably didn't see any lanes or any openings or daylight up there, so we're going to probably start with our poorest field position, I think, all evening. And that really, the 30-yard line isn't all that bad.
Fletcher, having Starry and Motter behind him in the backfield. Hand off to Starry. And he's going to get good rushing yardage by powering forward, and he's going to pick up about 6 on the play. Up a 2nd down and 4.
And Mike got about 4 of that on his own there. That was a good second effort there. He got a decent hole at the line of scrimmage, the initial point of contact there, and then boom, he just managed to run through some people.
Thing I've liked about the Falcon offense so far tonight, they've had good balance, and good balance between the running and passing games. Derek Fletcher really hasn't thrown the ball that many times, but he did set up to throw several times, choosing to run instead. But they've been showing they can do both. Starry on the sweep, and he's going to be stopped quickly. Good defensive play by the Raiders, and there you go again, some more after-the-play action there. No flags, a little talk by the referee between the two individuals involved.
And the way the Raiders are pursuing right now, Kevin, I think we're probably going to see maybe a little misdirection again. And hopefully we can be a little bit more successful we were in the first half. I think what happened in that first half was the counters and the misdirection plays were just maybe a few missed assignments because they were only like one man away from breaking some of those. And I think here in the second half you'll see those plays probably be run more effectively.
3rd down and 4. Make it a short 5. Starry, he's not going to get it. He was bogged up by Raiders defenders and our own blockers, and he's going to be short for the first down for about 2 yards. Bring up punting situation for the Falcons. Raider defense holds early here in the second half.
And of course the Raiders probably went in at halftime, and that was the play that hurt them probably the most there in the first half was just a good old power play off tackle, and they come out here in the second half and shut that one down twice on us.
This will be Larry Butcherelli's 3rd punt of the evening. High snap, and he gets a good punt off though. It's going to take the Raider back to his own 25-yard line. Good play by number 55 there for the Falcons. Rich Remius, senior, he made a good punt coverage there and making the stop.
Well, offensively we didn't do I'm sure what we wanted to do, but now of course the pressure's on the defense again, Kevin. We can't afford to let the Raiders get anything going here early in the second half and get any kind of momentum going, because then again let's put them back in the football game and we'll be in for a tough evening, tough second half.
Raiders are going to start on their own 26-yard line. Richardson will be at quarterback for the Raiders. He's been showing a strong arm there for the Raiders, throwing all over the field. Good running ability as well. Raider in motion, and he's going to pass. Oh, and a misread by the receiver and himself, Richardson, so that's going to be an incomplete pass. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 10.
And probably a nice situation to be in, when you're going up against a guy that can throw the ball as well as he does now. You put him in an obvious passing situation, and again, you eliminate some of the guessing anyways, Kevin, because you don't have, 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 5. Now you got to play both, but now you can maybe be a little bit more aware of the pass.
Falcons may also still maintain that strong pass rush they used by blitzing linebacker Don Hauser, and he had 2 sacks in the first half. Richardson drops straight back, and he has a receiver open, number 23. He fumbles the ball. No, it's rolled incomplete by the official. That's a tough one to call. I guess he never really had possession, and it's going to be rolled incomplete. 3rd down and long. 2 passes in the second half here for Richardson already on 2 offensive plays for the Raiders.
You sure can't fault him on the incompletions, Kevin. I don't think he's thrown more than 1 or 2 passes that, haven't been thrown that well. He's put some right on the money, and his receivers have been his worst enemy anyways tonight. They dropped a few of them that they should have hung on to.
We'll probably see Richardson go to the air again on a 3rd down and long situation, or maybe run a quarterback draw. He's good running. He's going to have a quick pass, and he's not going to run a quarterback draw, but he's going to run. He scrambles, and he has a receiver open, and reception's made, and he crosses into Falcon territory at the Falcon 49-yard line. Richardson showing good poise at quarterback. He was going to be a pop pass. He decided he was going to run. He pulled up at the line of scrimmage, faded back, gave the receiver time to get open, and made the reception.
That's a big-time play there, Kevin. I mean, we had him bottled up. We did what we had to do there. We didn't break containment and kept him inside, but the thing I think that amazed me more than anything, the completion, he'd made a nice throw, was the fact he was able to pick out a receiver like he did under such duress or pressure.
Remember, Richardson's only a sophomore, so we'll be seeing a lot more of him in the future, and a lot more of him tonight. First running play of this series for the Raiders. It's only generated about 3 yards. Number 34 is on that carry, Carmen Caffey.
This is very similar to what we've seen in the first half. The Raiders were able to get things going. They'd pick up a couple 1st and 10s, 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden, either they would make a mistake or our defense would tighten up a little bit, and hopefully we'll see the same thing, Kev.
Bill Davis, the senior nose tackle, was in on that stop on that previous play. 2nd down and 7 for the Raiders. back behind Richardson, which always signals pass so far. And he has the receiver open again, and he makes a completion. Number 14 for the Falcons on the coverage, Jeff Wilkins making the stop, but that's going to be good pickup of about 25 yards. Raiders going to be first down and 10 on the Falcons' 20-yard line.
And really, you can't fault the defense there. You know, I think we did a decent job again with the coverage in the secondary, but boy, when you throw the ball that well, you know, really the defensive back was there at the same time the football was, but wasn't much you could do about it because it was such a well-thrown pass.
One back behind Richardson, again, the same setup for pass, and they have three receivers to the wide side of the field. But he's going to pitch the ball, and they're not getting anywhere on the ground. Falcons are doing their job on the ground. That play's only going to pick up 2 yards. Carry by Myron Elzy. Number 84, Eric McMahon, the outside linebacker, on the stop for the Falcons.
That's probably what their original game plan was. You know, they probably figured they were going to be more successful maybe throwing the ball than running, but still they have to keep us honest, the defense, and probably still think that they can move the ball on the ground, but we've denied them the opportunity to do that so far.
Now he'll be a test for Richardson. The field has gotten shorter with the ball resting on the Falcons' 20-yard line, and they won't be able to... Oh, there was a good play by Richardson. Number 86, Ron Strollo, had the screen covered, and he's going to run, and he's going to pick up... We got a flag. No, we got a marker by the ref, not a flag. Picks up 5 yards. Good play by Ron Strollo. If Richardson would have unleashed that ball, Mr. Strollo would have probably had the interception, and depending on his speed, he probably would have been into the end zone on the opposite end of the field.
And somebody did a nice job up top. I think it was McMahon who read the screen. I think that's what they were trying to set up. It looked like a screen, and again, you know, that's why I say for a sophomore, you know, Richardson's doing a heck of a job because, you know, he's seen that himself. He's seen that blue jersey out there and pulled it back down and tried to find another receiver.
There's a lot of poise. He doesn't tend to rush the ball, which you expect from an inexperienced sophomore. Pitch is going to be number 22, Tony Anderson. And he's going to be down to around the 13-yard line. It's going to bring up fourth down for the Raiders. They've faced a lot of fourth down situations, not being able to convert on many of them. Fourth down and 3.
And I don't think really we're going to... Well, my mind now is
Raiders
starting to turn here, Kevin. I'm trying to say, with the type...
And they're going to keep their offensive team in on the field. They're going to go for the fourth down and 2.
So everybody out there again gets an opportunity to call a play here, and let's see how good you are.
I would think that with the effectiveness of their passing game, the Raiders may run that pass in the flat, where Richardson pump fakes to one side and turns around quickly and hits the receiver. That's my guess.
Well, we should go over there and get the voice of the Falcons. No, that's the fun part of being up here, Kevin. I'm glad I'm, again, not down there, up in that box on the other side there, because, you know, we can have a little bit of fun over here and, yeah, maybe kick around 3 or 4 different types of plays, and I'm sure they're doing that too, but they got to come up with the right one. If we don't, who cares?
Coaches are coming out of the huddles, and we're going to be set for this fourth down and 2 situation. Well, we'll see what kind of coaching we did, and we'll see what kind of coaching each of the teams has done. 7:07 remaining in the third period. Fourth down and 2 for the Raiders. Ball resting on the 13-yard line.
I got the right formation anyways, Cal.
Power eye behind Richardson. He's going to switch sides. No dice for the Raiders. They're going to be stopped by a yard short. Rich Turner in on that stop. Other Falcons coming up. Number 86, Ron Strollo, emerges from the pile, and number 50, Devin Fitzpatrick, the inside linebacker, did a good job of filling the hole. And once again, the Falcon defense holds.
Well, me and Jack Kenny talked this over during the week, Kevin, and we decided if they get in a 4th and 2 situation, they're going with a power eye, and of course I'm saying that in jest. But again, you know, just seeing what they've been doing up to here, and I kind of thought after you mentioned that about they've had so much success with that quick out, you know, they might try something like that because we've had a tough time stopping that play.
The Falcons did a good job stopping the last play. It's going to give them the ball on downs, And Fletcher's going to roll out. And he has Toefield downfield open, but he's going to keep running. And he's a hard hitting out there, and he's going to finally be brought down. It's hard to tell how much he picked up from this advantage point.
Yeah, I'm all for going back upstairs, Kev. This is this is hard to see down here. And especially when I get down there in that corner, all I can see is mortar and cement block.
Certainly we have to deal with numerous people in this press box that we probably preferably would not want to deal with during the game. Oh well. We don't get paid so we can't get fired, so we can say what we want. Eric McMahon is going to switch sides. Falcons got everything to this side of the field. Starry's going to follow it. And someone slips through for the Raiders, and they're going to bring him down.
Really, what Mike has got to do, what he did earlier, was, the off-tackle holder shutting down. If he just put, again, just that little dip inside and come back outside, especially with the speed he's got, I think, he can pick up a little bit more yardage if he comes more towards the sidelines. So.
Third down and a long 3 yards for the Falcons. They had a punt on their last possession. This is going to be critical whether they can get the first down here and avoid having to punt again and give Raiders good field position. Two splits, both Fear and Toefield. And he's going to throw to Starry over the middle, but the Raiders were there. He's going to pick up maybe a yard on that play, but not good enough for the first down. So 4th and 2, and we don't see the Falcon punting unit yet. They're going to measure.
Yeah, that's... I think that's one thing I can see, Kevin. I think we're about 1.5 yards or 2 yards short, but of course the official, he wants to make sure, I guess. That was kind of a surprising call in a way. We, again, are not a drop-back passing team, and Coach Hartman, deep in his own territory, chose to throw the ball. And again, we're not being critical. It was just something maybe he felt maybe the Raiders wouldn't expect either.
They're measuring right now, and we couldn't tell how many yards or half yards they were short, but it's going to bring up 4th down, and in comes Larry Bucciarelli to kick again for the Falcons. Falcons still having that 11-0 advantage here with 5:10 remaining in the third period. Deep for the Raiders is number 12, Tom Lamson. He's standing on his own 42-yard line. Nice kick by Bucciarelli. High kick. It drives him back to the 35. He bobbles it, and finally he's brought down by Starry and number 86, Ron Strullo, who have been good on punt coverage tonight. They've been in on every tackle for punt coverage.
And Bucciarelli's done a great job of getting the ball off because they're, the Raiders, again, taking advantage of their speed, are just bringing people from the outside. They're lining them up about 2 or 3 yards wide of the first down lineman and just bringing him hard. He's been able to get the ball and get it off, and really he's gotten off some nice punts.
So far in the second half, if we look at statistically, the Raiders have had the ball more than the Falcons. Falcons unproductive on their first 2 drives of this half. But they have the 11-0 advantage, and Richardson's going to be swarmed under. 25, Bill Davis, the senior nose tackle, gets the sack on Richardson. He was sitting in the pocket for a long time. Good coverage downfield allowed Bill Davis to break through the offensive line and make the sack for the Falcons.
I think you're exactly right there, Kev, because that's what happened there. He had to just bide his time back there, and we did a nice job that time of covering everybody. And that gave our down lineman, the pass rush a little more time to get to him.
That's the 3rd sack of the evening by the Falcons. Don Hauser registering the first 2, and Bill Davis getting that one. 2nd down and a big loss in the play. 8. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 18. Richardson's going to throw again. The standard play for the Raiders, and he's going to run, but the Falcons are going to cover quickly enough. Good blocking by the Raiders. He's finally drawn out of bounds. Oh, we have a flag, a late flag by the official who was in the middle of the field. The official coming in from the south end of the field. He did not even throw the flag, and he saw the play. It was the main official way back. He threw the flag. He heard some chanting. He heard some cheering and some, oh, give me a break.
Yeah, it was, a questionable hit there, kind of like, because here what happens here, we're looking over here, and the field is crowned and that sideline is a little bit farther away than what it looks, and I think the Raider fans got a little bit excited, and it may have influenced the officials' call there, Kevin.
I really don't like to get on officials, but please, that was pretty bad. He went right along with the Raiders fans. I mean, there was an official there on the play who did not throw the flag. Yeah, throw him his flag back. Well, that's going to give the Raiders a big break here. It's going to move the ball into Falcon territory. Ball resting on the 37-yard line. First down and 10. Richardson's on that quick out pass. He's going to pick up 5 yards. Tofield again pushing the Raiders out of bounds. A lot of interaction after the play between Falcons and Raiders down on the field.
And we let him off the hook there, Kev, because we had him back there second and long, and then, of course, had pretty good pressure on him. And, again, being the great athlete he is, Jermaine was able to scramble around there and pick up big yardage. And, of course, they tacked on another 15, and now we're back deep in our own territory.
So far, the Falcons have been able to solidify defensively when the Raiders have gotten deep into their own territory. It's going to drop straight back. Good pressure. Incomplete. Good pressure by number 50 for the Falcons. Inside linebacker Devin Fitzpatrick and number 73 Rich the Chalk were all over Richardson when he threw that ball.
Again, we've been effective with that, with the blitz. But again, you can't give them a steady diet of that because they'll come back with something and maybe throw a quick out and put you in a man-to-man situation or maybe a look in. And with the kind of receivers they have, with the great speed they have, you don't want to get caught in that situation too often. So this is why you don't see them doing the same thing over and over again. Especially the dealing linebackers.
Third down and 5. Ball resting on the 33-yard line of the Falcons. Richardson's going to roll out. And he's going to throw the ball up. The receiver's going to come back. He's never going to get to the ball. Good pressure again by Bill Davis and Eric McMahon. And it was an incomplete pass, once again caused by good pressure by the Falcons' defensive line. They hold again. It's going to bring up fourth down and long, and the Raiders they've only punted once tonight. They were deep in their own territory. They punted out of their end zone. Other than that, they've been going on every fourth down situation. But the Falcons have stopped them on every fourth down situation.
Yeah, we've been really strong in the fourth and long or short situations tonight, Kevin. They haven't really, I don't think, picked up a first down on fourth down yet tonight. We've been deep in our territory several times, and they've come up short.
Needless to say, Richardson will probably throw the ball. Oh, Stroll is putting pressure all over Richardson. He deflects that ball. And it's going to be finally knocked down by the secondary. Number 1, Rich Turner. Number 80, Don Hauser. And number 50, Devin Fitzpatrick, all in on the coverage for the Falcons. But the key there was Ron Strollo deflecting that ball and putting pressure on Richardson.
That's probably an area that we've really improved in, too, Kevin, the last couple of weeks. Now, we were, struggling a little bit, defensively with the outside game. People were able to, either sprint out with the quarterback or even run some sweeps and pick up considerable yardage outside. But the last 2 weeks, we've really made
pretty sight for the Falcons. He's going to lose one on that play. The Raiders' defense certainly has solidified here in the second half. The Falcons have yet to, I don't think, gain a first down on offense. Maybe one in their first series, but they had a punt both other times.
And I know one thing I usually mention a lot of, is controlling the line of scrimmage, Kevin. We talk about that, but I tell you what, nobody's really controlled it tonight. They've both taken their turns maybe moving the football a little bit, but nobody's dominated up there. And, of course, that's probably why the score's still 11-0 here in the third quarter with about, 3 minutes ago.
Second down and 11. Number 80, Don Hauser in at tight end. 21 Star, he's going to cut back, and he's going to be thrown back after a good gain of about 7 yards. Make that 6.
Well, he had the right idea, but I think if he'd have kept going straight ahead after he made that initial cutback, he'd have probably picked up maybe 3 or 4, but now we're going to be in a, third and long, and this isn't always a good situation for us, Kev. Hopefully this time it will be.
Pickup was only 4 in the play, so that'll bring up third down and 7. It's critical that the Falcons convert here so they can run some time off the clock, because the way the Raiders have been charging offensively, it seems only a matter of time before they finally do put some points on the board. Fletcher on a rollout. He's looking downfield. No receivers. Good catch, but a good play by the Raiders. Oh, a mean hit. It knocks the ball loose. Hauser was up in the air. He had that ball, but he was hit hard.
And this, you know, we haven't said too much about it, but probably one of the better Raider teams we've seen in a few years, Kevin. I tell you what, they're especially defensively playing some good football. I tell you, this is, I would think, probably the first team that's really been able to dominate us like they have. You know, we've been able to move the football on everybody, and tonight, especially in these last, you know, the second and third quarter here, we've really struggled.
Bucciarella's going to punt. High snap again, and the Raiders get close again, but the ball's going to take a nice foul, a nice Raider bounce. It's going to bounce up to about 32-yard line. The Raiders will start there, first down and 10 with 1:45 remaining in the third period.
We've been kind of fortunate, really, the second half because they've had some good field position and been able to move the ball on us until, again, they've gotten down, you know, deep in our territory and, again, been one of our better nights defensively. We've had it when we've had to, you know, defensively tonight. We've stopped them, at least 4 or 5 times, Kevin. We don't have too many statistics to go on here, but we've played some good defense when we've had to.
One statistic we do have that it's first down and 10, ball in the 34-yard line, 32-yard line. 22, the ball carrier, Tony Anderson, the tailback for the Raiders. He's going to get across the 35-yard line, pick up of about 3.
And right now, it's almost like they're wasting plays, Kevin, by running the football. You know, they've been much more successful through the air. They haven't done a whole lot on the ground. And myself, I'm kind of glad they're running the ball because they've been close to scoring on us with some of those passes.
Probably can expect an aerial play here. Richardson under center. One back behind him, and he has 2 wideouts, and good pressure. It's going to force him out of the pocket, and he's going to get out of bounds short of first down yards to bring up third down and 3. Good pressure again by the Falcons. They keep forcing him out of the pocket. Number 78 for the Falcons, Dave Cooper, on the heaviest pressure.
And Rich Turner had a shot at him there in the open field, but Rich not quite big enough, I don't think, to bring down Mr. Richardson. He, I tell you what, he's in the same mold as his brother, boy. Big, strong kid, you know, just a great athlete, and he's only a sophomore.
He's 6 feet 1 inch and 180 pounds. That's how Richardson goes in the program, and I'm sure in the next 2 years he'll even be bigger than that, put on some weight. He has strength now. It'll be even deadly to see it then. Drops straight back. He's going to roll out. He throws downfield. He has a receiver wide open. Wilkins is in between the receiver and the end zone, and he finally drags him out of bounds on the 15-yard line. Big pass play. 31 yards on the play there. The completion from Richardson to number 23. Dan Dantzler on the reception.
And they ran that route almost in between. You know, we were, again, back in some kind of a zone, and they were able to run it underneath the deep coverage and behind the linebackers. And, again, a very impressive throw. All right on the money.
We may be seeing the effects of fatigue on the Falcon defense. They've been out there a lot here in the second half, and they had a lackluster defensive secondary performance there. Richardson's going to hand off. He's only going to power forward the carrier, number 43, Elzy, for... We'll get the yardage here. Pick up 3 on the play.
Well, this is probably their deepest penetration, I believe, right, Kev? I don't think they've been down this close yet. They've been down in there right inside the 20, but I don't recall them being inside the 15. So, again, got our backs to the wall again, and going to have to come up with some big defensive plays.
I think I can see the effects of fatigue on the Falcons. Some of them are really gasping for deep breaths out there. Defense has to be tired. Second down and 7. Oh, nice play by the Falcons defense. Leading that surge was number 25, nose tackle Bill Davis. Nobody on the offensive line touched it. He came and he stood up Elzy, the ball carrier. Well, that'll end the third quarter here at Falcon Stadium. Score still remaining. Fitch Falcons 11 and Warren Western Reserve Raiders 0.
And hopefully, you know, we've talked about how well we've done in these situations up to this point, Kevin, but, you know, sometimes, you know, when it happens 4 or 5 times, you just kind of feel like, you know, the odds are in their favor that something good is going to happen. But the defense so far tonight has been able to come up with those big plays, and we're going to need 2 of them here now. I think, what is it, third and about 10?
I don't quite remember there, but when they set it up again, well, it'll be a third down situation. 3rd and 10. We have some stats on Richardson here coming from across the press box. He is now 10 of 20 for 227 yards on the evening in the air.
And just think if they'd have caught some of the ones that they should have, Kevin, he'd be up over the 300-yard mark without any doubt.
We'll see him throw again here with a 3rd down and long situation. Ball resting on the 15-yard line, just outside the 15-yard line.
And I think you're right, Kev. I think we're going to see at least 1 more pass and maybe 2. I hope we see 2, and they're both incomplete.
2 backs behind Richardson, 2 wide outs. And there's a fumble on the play. Richardson picks it up. And he's going to turn this into maybe 4 yards, but it'll be a 4th down situation again for the Raiders. I don't know what the potential for the Raiders' kicking game is, but if they did have a good field goal kicker, they probably could have had a lot of points on the board. They've always been down deep in Falcon territory, but they always had to go on it in 4th down situations.
Yeah, I think it's been a situation where, you know, it was 4th and short, Kevin, on the occasions when they were down that deep, and they decided, I guess, that they thought they could make it rather than, you know, go for the 3. They were going to try for the 1st down and maybe get 6.
Richardson drops straight back. He lost one up, and it's going to be picked off by Hauser. All right, Don Hauser, interception there for the Falcons, a key one on 4th down. And that's going to give the Falcons the ball again.
Well, I don't know, Kev. This might be our night because, you know, we struggled here in this series, you know, with our secondary, you know, with pass coverage, and all of a sudden now he puts the ball up, and we got at least 3 or 4 guys there, and I guess maybe we just anticipated well there, and another key play for the defense.
1st down and 10 for the Falcons, ball resting on their own 7-yard line. Hand off to Turner. He's going to pick up several on the play.
And now I guess I'm going to have to say that I think the Raiders are dominating that line of scrimmage, Kevin, because we're not getting any running room at all. You know, our offense has just sputtered probably for the first time in quite some time, and we got to get something going now because there's still 10:35 left to go in the ball game, and we've got to get the ball out and get some decent field position, at least to punt it.
Going to bring up 2nd down and 9, only pick up of 1 on the last play. Falcons have been stymied on offense every series so far in the second half. Handoff up the middle to Motter, and he's going to pick up good yardage.
Oh, we're trying to figure out who it was. We know one thing, it was a fullback, Kev. Now we're just trying to figure out which one.
Hard to tell. This vantage point is terrible. Maybe we will go back upstairs next week. Speaking of next week, as the officials bring out the sticks to measure whether or not the Falcons got a 1st down, next week coming in the Falcon Stadium will be the Bulldogs from Canton McKinley. Definitely one of the Falcons' nemesis in the past 4 years. Last year we gave them their biggest defeat by defeating them in the playoffs to move us forward into the state semifinals.
I've been over there several times in the last few weeks, Kevin, and according to them, they've got a score to settle, and I'm sure they're going to come over here, you know, ready to play some football, and we're going to be in for another tough evening. That's if we aren't week after week.
And speaking of the next week after McKinley, it'll be the Boardman Spartans coming in the Falcon Stadium to end off the Falcons' 9-game season. So there hasn't been a breather for the Falcons other than maybe the Tarbletters from Glenville. But beyond that, we've had a tough season.
This is a big play right now, obviously. Kevin, we got to get a 1st down here.
Starry, and he's going to power forward. Good enough for the 1st down yard. Well, we got a penalty, and it may be against the Falcons. Initial inclinations is that it is against the Falcons. We're waiting for the call from the officials, but it is an after-the-play increment. Oh. Well, it'll be a personal foul against the Falcons. It'll be a first down for the Falcons, dead ball foul, so they'll give the Falcons a first down and then mark the yardage off from there.
Well, I hope that one doesn't come back to haunt us, Kevin, but we had picked up a big 1st and 10 there, and, you know, with 9:57 to go on the clock, you know, even if we can, you know, at least run 3 more plays, we've eaten up probably 2 or 3 more minutes, but now, of course, we're going to have to go 3rd and long, and tough situation.
We had the first down, but we're back on the 10-yard line.
Oops, excuse me, that was a dead ball foul, so we do, again, have a first down, so at least we salvage that much out of it anyways.
First down, 20 yards to go for a first down for the Falcons. Ball resting on the 10-yard line. Starry and Motter in the backfield. We have Strollo switching sides at tight end. Long count by Fletcher. He's going to roll out. He has some open field. Going to get about 5 on the play. He's going to bring up 2nd down and 15.
And we're already down to 9 minutes, so we can, you know, of course, pick up a 1st and 10 here. We can get it down to about the 4 or 5 minute mark and eat up some of the clock.
Falcons will still probably have to punt here, 2nd down and 15, but we're all getting a lot more breathing room for our punter, Larry Butcherelli, and we hopefully get a good punt. We won't give the Raiders good field position. It's going to be right up the middle of Motter, but he doesn't go anywhere. No gain on the play. 3rd down and long. I don't know, maybe a quick kick would be a good possibility here.
You might be right, Kev. This is probably the best job anybody's done on our fullback. And really, this hurt our offense tonight, I think, because what we talked about is balance. The fact that, you know, we've been able to run the fullback inside. We've always been able to run those misdirection plays and run, you know, Mike Starry off tackle. But tonight we haven't been able to establish that fullback.
Well, we have a lot of commotion. And the pitch is number 8, Larry Butcherelli, and I like to pat myself on the back. I called that one, but it's not as effective as one might have thought. Ball's going to rest now on the 49-yard line of the Raiders. Raiders pretty well knew what was going on. They dropped that man back quickly, and he was able to stop the ball before it got a good roll. Flag down on the field.
I don't know. I would question that call because, you know, even when the punter, if you fumble the, you know, you're running with the football. When you're kicking the football, you're live bait. I don't know. I'd have to, you know, again, I'm not a football official, but if I remember the rule correctly, you know, because of the fact that he is on the run, or running with the football, I don't know whether you can have a roughing the kicker penalty.
A lot of activity on that play. I think we had a Raider player down on the field. He looked hurt pretty bad. Personal foul against the Raiders. Well, a lot of confusion here, a lot of things going on. Raiders still down on the field.
Evidently, we had the wrong call against Kevin, but what happened, I think, was just a personal foul after he kicked the ball. And
I think I'll just pat myself on the back again. Quick kick. One prediction that
good
came
call,
true.
Kevin.
Well, this is definitely a big play in favor of the Falcons. It's going to give them 1st down and 10 on the 30-yard line, so they'll probably be able to chew up another 2 or 3 minutes in these 3 downs, and if they do get a 1st down, it may be hard for the Raiders to come back. Raiders still down on the field. He looks seriously injured, a head injury maybe. Hopefully it's not that serious.
This has probably been as physical a game as we've been involved in all year, Kevin. I don't think, you know, even the Mooney game, you know, as physical as they usually are, you know, weren't hitting especially defensively like the Raiders are. I tell you, the Raiders are coming after us, and this is probably why we've got some guys that are maybe losing their cooler temper, and we still have, 8 minutes to go, so hopefully our people can keep their heads and don't cost us another crucial penalty like that and maybe jeopardize us winning the football game.
There's been about as many personal fouls in this ball game as Richardson has thrown the ball, it seems, and he's thrown the ball a lot. Fletcher's going to set up to throw this time, and he's going to finally throw to number 40, Motter, and he has him. And he's going to pick up a first down there. Across the 40-yard line, finally down. Well, there it is, the confrontation. We've been waiting all night. We got a lot of stuff going on over there. Coaches are trying to hold back the Raider bench as the Falcon bench erupts where the play ended. Wasn't there a fight last year in Warren between the Raiders and the Falcons? If I do recall that we had a fight ending the ball game last year, and at this rate we're heading just for that direction.
Yeah, this one's out of control right now, and I think still, some people, and I'm not saying it's all the Raiders, I'm noticing some of our kids are being overly aggressive, and there was a block there thrown way after the whistle was blown, and I think that's why the Raiders got a little bit upset. So coaches are going to have to get control of their kids and see if we can just play some football here the last few minutes.
Well, that's not a good place to put the ball if you're the Raiders. Not a good place to end up is in front of the Falcon bench. Now they have the referees talking to Mike Starry and the other captain for the Raiders, trying to get a little organization and get a little more sportsmanship into the ball game.
And Coach Anarella has been up here in the press box with us, the head football coach of the Raiders, so now he's going to go down on the field now and see if he can't kind of settle his football team down. Again, he's, I'm sure, concerned about getting an unnecessary penalty now in this situation here, and maybe giving him, or costing him anyway, an opportunity to maybe get back in the football game and even win it.
Falcons did get the first down on the completion. Keith Motter picking up the 10 yards. Ball resting on the 42-yard line of the Falcons. 7:25 remaining in the fourth period, but it'll probably at this rate be a long 7 minutes and 25 seconds.
Oh yeah, Kev, I think you're right, because it's not going to stop right here. I don't think it's just gotten out of hand already, and hopefully we don't get too involved ourselves, because we're leading the football game 11-0, and right now it could hurt us more than it does them.
This referee still trying to get things settled down on the field. Both coaches for the Falcons and the Raiders out there trying to help them.
And really, the officials, I think, did try to control the football game early, Kevin. We both, I think, agreed on that. We talked about that, the fact that maybe that's why we did see some flags. They tried to discourage this type of thing, but evidently it didn't work.
Handoff to Starry, and things are still heated up out there. They don't stop when the whistle blows. They got another 2 or 3 seconds of interaction between themselves.
Yeah, there's some hitting going on out there, and I tell you, it's no place for the timid. And I think what is happening too is some of the, it's not really a spear, but some of the, defensive people are getting the old helmet in there, and I think that's maybe irritating some of the running backs especially.
Clock winding down, 6:40 remaining in the ball game. 2nd down and 8 for the Falcons. Fletcher hands off to Starry. He has some room on the outside. Things are not stopping. You just have to look downfield in the interaction between both teams, and it's not a friendly sight.
There's some people bumping heads out there, Kevin. I tell you what, even the wide receivers who sometimes, don't like to get involved in too much of the contact, they're going out there, and I tell you, they're taking some shots at some people, and we both agreed. This not going to stop here.
Very few times you see split ends going downfield and that aggressively for a downfield block. 3rd down, 6. We don't want to keep harping on the situation out there, but hey, why not? Both here switch sides. Fletcher's going to throw the ball, and he's going to keep it and run. He has some open room now. Good cutback by Fletcher. He's breaking for the outside, and he's into Raider territory. Ball now on the Raiders' 40-yard line. First down for the Falcons.
That might right now loom as one of the big plays of the football game, Kevin, because he picked up a key 1st and 10, and that kind of surprised me he's able to do that because we kind of rolled out to the short side of the field, and he's able to come back to the wide side. I figured the defense would be more wide side conscious, in that situation. But Derek did a nice job of being able to pick up some big yardage.
Good running by Fletcher is going to give the Falcons first down and 10. 5:12 remaining in the ball game. Hand off to Motter. Flags were out early on that play. That's going to be holding against the Falcons.
Yeah, in that area, that's probably it, Kevin. That's got to be a holding call probably on us. And
I hate to say it, but I was happy the flags came out as the play was progressing instead of after the play, as we've seen so often.
And as bad as it might seem, it's not quite as devastating as it could have been, if it were, again, deeper in our territory. We got pretty decent field position now. It's first down. We're down to, 5 minutes to go in the football game, and if we can at least hang on to the ball for 3 or 4 more plays here, we should be able to run at least 2 or 3 more minutes off that clock.
Going to take the ball back to the 48-yard line of the Raiders. Bring up first down and a long way to go for the first down. 1st and 18.
But it does make it much more difficult for us to pick up, a key first down here. If we were able to pick up the first down, we could probably run the clock out. But now we got to go, 2nd and about 20, and a little bit difficult to do it on the ground.
Turner in motion. Handoff's going to be to number 28. Scott Lawrence, the ball carrier, in on the ball game at tailback position for Mike Starry. So Starry may be injured, they just may be giving a breather, and Falcons just running out the clock here. 2nd down and long.
And I doubt, Kevin, whether you're going to see us put the ball up. We may, take Derek Fletcher and maybe running him on some kind of a bootleg or a sprint out type action, but I'm sure maybe it's just going to be a designed run where we might eat up some clock and still give him the opportunity to maybe pick up a first down. But I don't know whether Dave would risk maybe now putting the ball up.
2 wideouts. Fletcher's going to drop back. He's going to set up a screen to Turner, but the ball is short, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Well, there I go again.
Something the Falcons don't do very often. In fact, I don't think they've even... I think they ran the screen once this year previous to this, and I don't think the ball was completed either.
And the bad thing about that now is not only was it an incompleted pass, but it also stopped the clock. And right now, that's our opponent really, as you always hear so often on TV. But we're down to just less than 4 minutes. Really, it's 3:59. So the only thing we can afford to have now is I don't even want to say it, is a turnover.
2 wideouts again for the Falcons. And Fletcher's going to be smothered in the backfield. He didn't even get a chance to look downfield there. Raiders were all over him on a blitz, and that's going to bring out the punting unit for the Falcons. Ball resting on their own 46-yard line.
And the clock is still running, and we're down to, 3:35, and of course now what we've got to do, obviously, is get off the punt, and hopefully they don't get a good return.
The receiver for the Raiders goes back to his own 19-yard line. Lucarelli gets a nice high kick. It's going to give time for the coverage to get down there. It's going to bounce near the end zone and finally in.
Well, it'd be nice to see it stop here on the 2 or 3 Kev, but I tell you what, I'm happy to have them starting their offense on the 20-yard line. Yeah, because now they've got to go about 80 yards in 3 minutes, and they've got to get at least 2 scores now. 1 score doesn't do it much good, and I'm sure defensively this is what we're going to be thinking is prevent the big play. We don't want that long bomb, or we don't want the big score on us right now. We can make them work to get, 80 yards. They should be able to eat up most of the clock doing that.
Raiders offense so far tonight has shown that they have big play potential with the arm of Jermaine Richardson at quarterback. Our defense is doing a heck of a job tonight, and they should maintain the same. Richardson's able to scoot through the defensive line. He's going to pick up close to first down yardage. Good 10 yards on the carry. Ball's going to rest just outside the 30-yard line.
And we'll go ahead, Kevin.
Clock's going to be stopped as they move the chain. .254 and counting now remaining in this contest. Raiders come to the line. 2 backs behind Richardson, 2 wide outs. Drops straight back. He looks downfield, and he is finally sacked by one of the Falcons. Hard to tell who initially was in on the sack.
And we did a good job in the secondary, and I think what happened there, too, I think Jermaine wanted to go up top. He wanted to go deep, and that, again, allotted us maybe another second or two there we could get a little more pressure on, and that's exactly what we did.
Number 79, John Polish, led on that sack of Richardson.
Is that Richardson that's still down?
Richardson down on the playing field.
And of course, you know, that's something that the Raiders can ill afford right now, Kevin, is to have Jermaine out of the ball game, because I'm sure they don't have a backup quarterback, you know, with the ability that he has.
They'll have to come out of the ball game for at least one play if his injury is just minor. If it's major, he may be on the sideline.
And even really right now, even that one play is, you know, kind of will probably have a devastating effect on the Raiders, being the fact that you've got somebody coming in the football game that hasn't been out there. You got the risk of, you know, the quarterback fumbling that exchange. So this isn't really a good situation for the Raiders.
Still attending to Jermaine Richardson on the field. 2:24 remaining in the ball game. It'll be 2nd down and 12 for the Raiders. They're calling out some more personnel to look at him.
And by the looks of it, Kevin, I think he's going to be out maybe for more than one play. This seems to be a pretty serious injury. It's not one of those where maybe, you know, he had the wind knocked out of him or whatever, but
that would be a tragic loss for not only this game but the rest of the season for the Raiders. Well, to speak further about next week, as I said earlier, the Canton-McKinley Bulldogs will be coming to Fitch Falcons Stadium, and definitely what will be a hotly contested, shall we say, gridiron bloodbath, because as you said earlier, John, the rivalry is there. After we defeated them in the playoffs last year, they beat us in the regular season, and in 1985, McKinley was the advantage, held the advantage by winning the ball game, but in 1984 we defeated them in their first match in Fawcett Stadium in Canton. So what does that bring the overall score? That's 2-2 for McKinley-Fitch conflicts. So it'll be an even record coming into the ball game next week.
Really not the type of opponent we want to be playing after this game. I never expected, you know, this kind of a football game from the Raiders, because, as we pointed out earlier, you know, they haven't been this physical the last 3 or 4 years, Kevin. I tell you what, we're going to have some bumps and bruises, you know, that are going to last us for several days. And again, McKinley being the type of football team they are, hopefully, you know, we are able to get over those bumps and bruises by about Tuesday, and we don't suffer or incur any serious injuries, and, you know, we're ready to go full tilt against them on Friday night.
Serious is the word for Richardson on the field. Now they're bringing out the stretcher to bring him off the field. Don't know what type of injury it is.
And again, it looked like there, you know, he exposed his rib area or maybe even his shoulder there. He was just in the process of trying to throw the football, and I think somebody, you know, probably got a helmet or a shoulder in there, you know, in that exposed area, and he, sad to say, has probably suffered a serious injury here.
They're still attending to him on the field. Small crowd here tonight at Falcon Stadium. Even for the nice weather, it's disappointing to see not as many fans came out this evening to root on the Falcons. But as we've said many times, they're a better team than their record has shown. 4 losses were hard-fought losses.
Yeah, we've had, I think, you know, kind of a disappointing year, but yet, you know, the thing is, when you even talking to Coach Hartman, you know, he was somewhat disappointed, but yet again, not totally dejected because we played some good football. It's just kind of depressing, the fact that, you can play so well and, be in every football game and you just be that much short each week. And, of course, tonight, things that we had talked about, I talked about with Dave, the fact that, the other team hadn't been turning the football over to us and, hadn't committed too many mistakes and given us, the opportunity maybe to take advantage of those and, put the ball in deep in in the opponent's territory and give us some easy scoring opportunities. We've been forced maybe to move the football the length of the field on most occasions, and hey, we've been able to do that pretty consistently, but sometimes we just either the clock ran out on us or come up a yard short here and there. But really, this is probably the first time that our opponents have made some mistakes, and of course tonight, being the good football team we are, we've been able to capitalize on those.
Speaking of mistakes and specifically turnovers, in comparing last year to this year, the Falcons last year led the SBC in the advantage of takeaways to giveaways. We had a plus 12 in that department. This year, we've given up more balls than we have taken away, with a minus 4 in the Falcons, making them the bottom of the Steel Valley. Everyone else in the Steel Valley has a plus advantage in the giveaway takeaway department.
And I think if you look there at the team defense too, Kevin, I think we're last in the Steel Valley. We've given up like 215 yards per game, and that's been unheard of around here for quite some time. And teams have been able to consistently move the ball against us, get sustained drives. And of course, we go back to that Mooney game again, where they ate up 8 minutes of the clock in that third quarter. And again, it wasn't that they were people are running, breaking off 30 and 40-yard runs and getting long pass plays on us. It's just that they've been nickel-diming us really 3 and 4 yards a crack and picking up those first downs and maybe getting 13 and 14 play drives going. And really, the offense hasn't had the ball as much as we'd like to have it. But here tonight, it's been a different story. I tell you, the defense has really done the job, and of course, the offense I think has run into a better defense than we thought we would.
Jermaine Richardson is now being carried off the field a way you'd hate to see a ball player leave the field on the stretcher, but inclinations are that it's his shoulder that he's having the injury and the problems with.
And I think he had his arm up there, and he was attempting to throw the ball, and somebody got a pretty good lick in on it, and that's probably what happened. He hurt his throwing arm, the shoulder.
Back to the action on the field. There's a big play by the Raiders. They're all the way out to their own 45-yard line. 2:06 remaining in the ball game. They're going to stop the clock as they move the chains.
And we'll give them that type of a play. I'm sure we didn't want to give them that much yardage, Kev, but we're still, trying to prevent that long bomb. We don't want that quick score on us right now.
The clock's still running. Under 2 minutes remaining. Timeout on the field. Called by the Falcons. I think they weren't ready there as the Raiders approached the ball to initiate the play. It's going to give the Falcons a chance to recuperate and reorganize here.
And I'm still looking for number 21 out there, in our secondary, Kevin, because Mike, again, probably has as much speed as anybody out there and plays good pass defense. And I'm just kind of wondering whether he might be hurt, because I'm sure Coach Hartman and Coach Kenny, the defensive coordinator, would like to have him in that secondary, but obviously there's some reason now why he's not in there.
On the last offensive series for the Falcons, Mike Starry was not present. Number 28 Scott Lawrence was in there in the ball game for him, and he's not out there now. I'm trying to get a count on the defensive backs we have in the secondary. We may be going to a 5 defensive back setup, prevent defense, prevent the long bomb situation, but we have to look at the Raiders' new quarterback, though. Didn't get a chance to see his number, who's in there at quarterback for the Raiders.
And of course, that's a big plus as far as we're concerned right now, Kevin. You don't like to see anybody leave the field, especially because of an injury.
Number 10 is now the Raiders' quarterback, Mike Brocious, also a sophomore. He's going to throw deep. He has number 30 open, and it's off his fingertips, and he drops it. And the receivers for the Raiders have been, so far this evening, advantageous for the Falcons since they've been dropping the balls for several of the key plays. 1:49 remaining in the ball game now. Second down and 10 for the Raiders. They're still on their own 45-yard line.
That's a great throw, but again, you know, the thing that bothers me, and I'm sure it's bothering the coaches over there, you know, in this situation, nobody should ever get behind you. You know, and you always have to be at least deep as the deepest. And there we got caught waiting for the football, and the receiver ran right by the defensive back.
Don Hauser looks poised to rush. It's going to be a handoff. Number 43, Elsie, a freshman.
That was kind of an unusual call there, too, being the fact that they have to score twice, and, you know, we're down to 1:33, and they're running the fullback up the gut. So, again, I don't know what to expect, Jeff.
Don Hauser, number 80, was the Falcon on tackle previous play.
Because that was a well-thrown ball there that, you know, there's nobody to fault but the receiver. He catches the ball, and, you know, they get one of those scores back that they need.
Brocious, the quarterback, he's going to drop straight back. He's looking straight down the sideline, and there's going to be bumping and pushing, but no flags. And the ball is incomplete. 1:02 remaining now, but it brings up a fourth down situation for the Raiders, so this will be the do-or-die play in the ball game. Fourth and long, 8 yards for the Raiders.
Yeah, this is all we got to do right now is play one good football play, and the football game really, you know, in reality will be ours, because I think they're down probably only maybe one timeout left, and, you know, we can just sit and fall on the ball. You know, we can run out the remaining time on the clock, which is now, what, 1:02?
Two backs behind Brocious. He's going to go deep again, and the tackle is missed by Kowalczyk, and the Raiders receiver picks up first down yards and a lot more. They're at the 30-yard line now in Falcon territory. Something the Falcons definitely didn't want to happen. 53 seconds remaining in this fourth period.
And the thing that's been also impressive about the Raiders is the size of their receivers and running backs, Kevin. Tell you what, we've had problems when they've got them out in the open, and they've got some running room trying to bring them down because of their size.
Brocious drops back, and he is hit by number 84, Eric McMahon. Good play by the outside linebacker. Brocious didn't even see it coming, and he was hit hard. 40 seconds remaining, and that's going to be a timeout called by the Raiders. Lost track of how many timeouts they have left.
Mr. Brocious is lucky that he's not on the other stretcher, because he was in another vulnerable position there as Richardson was, and got hit from behind, and there for a minute I thought he was hurt too, Kev.
And we're getting inclinations that he is. That was definitely a devastating hit put on Brocious by number 84, senior outside linebacker Eric McMahon.
Of course, you know, as a quarterback, that's when you go back in the huddle, and all of a sudden, instead of having 10 friends back there, you only have 9 now, because one of your buddies there almost got you decapitated. And of course, that's basically probably what it was. Somebody had a missed assignment, because I think all it was a defensive end coming hard from the top of the football field there, and nobody even attempted to block him.
It'll be second down and 20. Ball now resting on the 40-yard line for the Raiders. Setting up for what appears with 39 seconds remaining, they'll have maybe 2-3 at most chances with the ball.
And hopefully we can keep them out of the end zone here. We would like to have a shutout. Now, this is always one of the team goals that we try to achieve.
Just drops back, and he hits number 30, and he has open territory, and he's finally brought down near the 2-yard line. Final tackle made by number 36, Joe Dolak. Now it's number 33 on the tackle, Rich D'Onofrio.
Look at that.
Well, 31 seconds remaining. First down and 2, ball on the 2-yard line. Falcons can hold. Big play there for the Raiders.
And they were on the 2-yard line, so course, now, you know, they have the option of running or passing. You know, they're now probably realize maybe they, well, of course, I guess if they score right away, you know, and still have 30 seconds to go and get an onside kick, could possibly get another score. Hopefully we can maybe rise to the occasion here and keep them out of the end zone, Kev.
This is the closest the Raiders have been to scoring this evening. They've been inside the 30 on numerous occasions, but the Falcon defense has been able to hold every time, maintaining the 11-0 advantage they have. The Raiders' last time out.
And really, when you look back, you know, all that was a little swing pass down the backfield, and he just able to, you know, break some tackles and go on down to about the 10-yard line where I think he dragged about 2 or 3 of our defenders. And we just were able to keep him about a yard or so short of the end zone.
Raiders now getting set to go to the line of scrimmage. Falcons will have their goal line defense in, 6 defensive linemen. Man-to-man coverage, and it's kicked off, and he's going. 36, Joe Dolak. We have a lot of excitement in the press box here.
Talk about dumb.
He picks the ball off on actually inside the end zone. I thought he was going all the way there for a second. He had a lot of open territory. He's finally brought down by the Raiders, but it all is academic at this point with 20 seconds remaining in the ball game. Falcons will take the ball over after that interception by Joe Dolak, and they will maintain their 11-0 advantage here and run out the clock for the victory.
I'm sure I don't think that was the play I would have called, Kevin, but I could see their thinking in a way. They come on that power eye and probably thinking that we expected them maybe to run, you know, that isolation out tackle, and we had all our linebackers cheated up inside. Maybe they thought maybe they might sneak that little look-in pass over, you know, top of those linebackers. But again, when you get down there 2 yards away or a yard and a half away and you got those big backs that they got and they got us back on our heels, I don't know. I think maybe I may would have decided maybe to try and run the ball in. But anyway, that made a few people happy.
Dolak's interception was a fine ending to a fine defensive performance by the total defensive unit.
It was just that kind of a night.
Tonight. You have to give most of the credit to this victory to that defensive unit. The Falcon offense was able to score in the first quarter and put on 3 more points in the second, but beyond that, in the second half, it's been all Falcon defense because they've held back the Raiders every time they got within the 30-yard line of the Falcons, and the offense, on the other hand, has not produced that much in the second half. So the Raiders will definitely remember the Falcon defense tonight, and the Falcon defenders will remember how they all played a heck of a ball game here. Another Raider player down on the field.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it was, again, a well-played football game. The only thing tonight, Kevin, we lacked, you know, the offense just couldn't muster any kind of an attack, especially here in the second half. I think we kind of bogged down there at the beginning of the second quarter, and really since then haven't gotten anything going. And I guess you have to give a lot of credit to the Raiders because they sure did impress me defensively. They come out and probably hit us hard, if not harder than anybody we've played all year up to this point.
Player still down, 26 seconds remaining, waiting as the player will leave the field. The Falcons will just have to sit on the ball one, and that'll be the end of the ball game.
Yeah, I believe they're probably out of timeouts, Kevin, if all we had to do is get that old clock started, and, you know, you're allowed, I think, 25 seconds, aren't you, to get a playoff, so that could be it.
This old victory will bring the Falcons' record to 3-4 on the year. They'll still be 0-2 in the Steel Valley, but a victory nonetheless, and one well-deserved by the Falcon unit. Next week, as we said, we'll be facing Canton McKinley here in Falcon Stadium, and the following week we'll end the season against the Spartans from Boardman, who tonight are playing the Ursuline Irish and who were beating the Irish at halftime. So that will shape up, if the Spartans beat the Irish, an interesting Steel Valley battle between the Cardinals, the Irish, and the Spartans.
We're just commenting about who's in there at quarterback. I think Derek Fletcher is hurt. He's walking off the field with Mike Bishop, the trainer, and just don't take for granted, you know, the old quarterback-center exchange. But that's all we need. If we can just get the snap and fall on it, you know, the football game's over.
Each team has paid a heavy price tonight in injuries. Richardson, the quarterback, going down for reserve, and a couple other players down. And the Falcons, too, haven't seen Mike Starry in the end of the fourth quarter. Now Derek Fletcher's no longer in the ball game. So these injuries will definitely play a part in both the Raiders and the Falcons games next week. They're helping this Raider player off the field on crutches.
And really, it's not surprising that, you know, we've had a few injuries, Kevin, because there has been some serious hitting going on out there. I mean, both teams have, especially defensively, really been overly aggressive at times.
Yes, Derek Fletcher is now being brought off the field, walking next to an injured Doug Wilhelm. So this will be number 14, Jeff Wilkins, a sophomore. His first varsity appearance, no, actually second he played against Glenville. His second varsity appearance of his career at quarterback. He's not going to have to take the snap, though. And the penalty is thrown with 1 second remaining in the ball game. They'll move the Falcons back 5 yards. Why didn't they just take the snap there? I don't know. And let the ball down. There's clock's still going to have to start, isn't it? Because I mean,
the only thing I could say,
have to start the clock.
Kev, would be that if we would have snapped it and fumbled it, that would have given them 25 seconds or 24 maybe to score. Whereas now, if we do fumble it, you know, the game's over. You know, if we can prevent them from picking it up and going in the end zone.
That'll be it.
Of course, they're going to complain because you can't. Well, they're not. We didn't move, and you can't end the game on a penalty. But I don't think they probably even noticed that or seen that.
Brought to you on Channel 19 on your cable service. Tonight we feature the rebroadcast of the gridiron clash between our own Fitch Falcons and the Bulldogs from Canton-McKinley. Coming in tonight's game, the Falcons are coming off last week's 11-0 victory over the Raiders of Warren Western Reserve, and that brings our record to 3-4 on the year. The Bulldogs coming into this game are 5-2, having lost to Mooney earlier this season, 8-0, and also losing to Cleveland St. Joseph's. Sitting next to me tonight, as always, is John Rourke doing our color commentary. And John, the first thing we have to look at in last week's loss, I think, is last week's victory, I think, is the fact that our offense became very sluggish in the second half, and we really didn't retain that much possession of the ball.
Yeah, I think we could probably attribute a lot of that to the Western Reserve defense, Kevin, because I was totally surprised myself because I didn't expect them to be as aggressive as they were the last few years. You know, they haven't been the typical Western Reserve teams that we're used to seeing. But last week, again, like I said, they impressed me defensively especially.
Well, we're set for the kickoff. Number 13 for the Bulldogs, Pat Line, is going to do the kicking. Deep to receive is Starry, Weston, and Turner, and Weston's going to return this one. Has a nice hole, and he's going to break up close to the 30-yard line. I think he's going to rest about on the 27-yard line, where the Falcons will start 1st and 10 on their first possession of the game.
That's something we've seen this year that we haven't seen in quite some time, Kevin, is we've seen some real good kickers. You know, we've went up against a couple teams here where we've got people consistently kicking that ball inside the 10-yard line. We've had a difficult time at times, you know, trying to get good field position to start our offense with.
Number 9, Derek Fletcher, will be heading our offense again this week. He's playing on an injured ankle, which he injured in the reserve game last week. He was taken out in the fourth quarter, so we'll see how Derek does on that injured ankle. Hand off to Starry, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage. Pickup of about 2 on the play, but McKinley's playing hard football out there.
That's a good comment you made earlier, Kevin, and I think it's going to be true. The fact that we see their fullbacks are playing, you know, the down lineman positions on defense, and boy, they sure did look quick, you know, in that particular running play there.
Yes, the setup on the defense for the Bulldogs, they have 2 fullbacks playing as the nose man and the tackle, and also a former defensive back playing at the other tackle, so they definitely have speed up front with good size in those positions too. They run that 50 defense,